my wife, Dr. Pooja Shah. Thank you for joining us today. I believe we are live. Just want to make sure everyone can hear us and can see us okay. If you don't see anything on the page yet or something is weird, try and refresh. And for those of you on chat roll, feel free to jump into the chat. We do have a 250 person limit, so if not, you can always leave a Facebook comment. Thank you for joining us today. There we go. So it looks like we are live and everything is good to go. Very excited, right?
So excited. Yeah. This is, it's been an intense couple of days here.
Couple of days, couple of weeks. And it's just been, it's been amazing to deliver this information and really give it to everybody and see the feedback. The feedback, from everybody, from the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people that have been interested in this. In fact, it's 100,000 people, more. I think we're up to like 103 or 105,000 people that have joined us for the 9-day Inner Riches.
What feeling and
the breakthroughs
in just 9 days.
9 days.
You think about a week in your life, and that's not that long, but the stuff that was coming up felt like lifetimes worth of work.
Worth of work. And it was just so powerful when we've been working on this project for, I'd say like almost decades collectively.
Yeah.
And finally got it out into the, I guess to more people. And it's just amazing the effects that we're seeing from a lot of this information. It's a lot of taking all that kind of esoteric, abstract information and trying to compress it and deliver it in an educational format so people can actually experience it, especially from a meditational standpoint.
Yep.
And how powerful, just how when I first started out, I didn't really understand what meditation was. And I got the idea. I kind of grew up a little bit around it. I didn't really understand how to do it. And it was through guided meditations that actually I had discovered, like, whoa, there is something deeper now. How do I do it myself? What's the next step? And that's why we created today's class, is to talk about some of the other topics around meditation, around ancient wisdom, around some of this knowledge. And we're going to be kind of taking some of these recent modern, luminaries of sorts and comparing them and show you how they've also harnessed some of these conscious or subconsciously using some of these ancient wisdom powers that have been written for thousands of years, basically.
Yeah, they've been around for a very long time. And we've also, what we do is combine a lot of the science behind it, which is, I think, relatable. People can understand.
First, the doctor says the science.
I know, but it is.
No, it's true. I'm that way too, where I have to prove things to myself. And that's always important to me. It's like, it's not true unless I prove it to myself. Like, I have to experience it, or I have to have that shift for me to actually understand it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's also amazing to, understand what we're feeling and what it's doing to our body. And that's why I think meditation is so special. It's not just a scientific or, idea that you can't feel. You can actually viscerally, literally feel.
You can feel it.
What you're doing.
There's like layers of stress that like disappear.
Yes.
Basically.
And we saw that in the community. We saw people talking about layers being shed, and that is unbelievable.
So that was, that's the real power behind what we're, teaching here, and how that stress just gets released, and how layers and years of this, like, whether it's suppressed or whether it's something that you're not even realizing is happening, it's getting stored in your body in some way. And that's, we're going to be getting into it, like the epigenetics and some of the factors, the studies and things like that. So anyway, just, I don't even know, just humbled, like truly, there's no other words that can come out of my mouth besides grateful and humbled that this is happening, and that this is taking a new shape. Give me a second here. There's messages popping up here, which I don't want while I'm kind of on this thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, where is this? Do not disturb.
Perfect.
Boom.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. It happens. We were doing a lot of testing and stuff this morning, making sure everything was perfect. We've had some amazing results from what we've done. And the online, the live experience, basically. So again, We're going to be going through slides. That's going to be like our process, and slides are very educational, and we kind of have some animations and things so they can visualize what we're saying instead of just watching us on camera. And every now and then we'll pop back on and we'll talk about it. And we have a little agenda that we're going to get through in just a second. So what I'd like to say is I have the team around me here, and we have a pretty cool setup here.
Awesome team.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Without the team, none of this would be happening.
No.
So I mean, this is just amazing. Everything has come together. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just letting it happen.
The synchronicities, the stuff that you manifest when you meditate. Pretty cool,
it's
huh?
pretty cool. So why don't we get started on the slides, Joe? And what we'll do is we'll just start digging into some of this information, and we'll provide you with some deep education. And at the end, we'll take a Q&A session. So if you want to ask questions, you can feel free to put the questions in the chat roll or into the Facebook comments, and our team is standing by, and we're just kind of, just people going to be responding. There's going to slides, and we'll pop in every now and then.
Yes.
Okay. Let me know when we're good.
All right.
I think
you are. Double checking. You're good right now.
Okay. So, there's this really cool quote that I absolutely love. And, it's from The Matrix. And I know almost every single person has seen The Matrix. And if you haven't, it's really interesting. And what it is about is that each of us have this unique power about us that we're able to kind of unfold and then control the universe to some extent, right? Yep. So there's this quote from Morpheus from the movie that was really good. And it said, "Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you cannot explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with this world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?" And then later on, Neo, who's Morpheus's friend, basically goes in to take the blue pill or the red pill. Class, is going to be, that's the significance of this quote. There's a reason why everything happens, and we have thousands upon thousands of people tuning in today for this message. So I mean, I just think it's just really powerful. So thank you, really, thank you, and I want to congratulate you for completing the 9-day challenge again, because I think it's really powerful that if you haven't gone through all 9 days, don't worry, it's not a big deal. But if you have gone through the 9 days, congratulations. And I know that a lot of people are still kind of catching up, which is fine. Content is going to stay up. As you all know, I am, like I said, I mentioned here with my wife, Pooja. We are both the founders of Project Yourself. And we're both extremely passionate about meditation, human potential, ancient wisdom. And just like you guys, we've had our own story for being on this path, and we're going to share some of that with you in just a bit. What I do want to say is that this information that we're about to be sharing is extremely powerful. It's really, really, really cool. It's really deep. It's really very well researched. And influence others in good ways, and not the other way around.
Yes.
So, there's 100,000 people that have taken this journey before this class today, and this is kind of like the other 100,000, and we've changed incredible lives. This one was even deeper, on a deeper level, with so many, more people in such a shorter amount of time. So I'd love to share some kind of just short testimonials, just very, very shortly. This is from the experience. These are from some previous customers. I just wanted to share some of these incredible stories. And Janine said that Project Yourself was the greatest gift since the birth of her children. Craig Conover said that, he used Project Yourself to compose his first ever song without ever knowing musical knowledge.
That's amazing.
Then Raghi Horner, which, we're going to bring her on, I believe, on Thursday to actually help talk to you guys on the live cast. She said it completely transformed her daily routine from the minute she starts her routine.
Wow.
And then Doman became totally relaxed and said that his work and creativity skyrocketed. Now, these are just a handful, and this is what Project Yourself is about. It's a global online movement to help wake up, people to who and what we are. And that is beings of limitless potential.
Yep.
And so, I don't want to go through too many of the testimonials and things like that. So let's just continue. Booj, I call my wife Booj. So
yeah.
you'll hear that you might hear that a couple of times on the webinar. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, some of what you've read, and you've been in the community and the membership site for so long, and, some of your feedback on.
Yeah. I mean, I was amazed with some of the success stories I saw. It was, it was just, as a collective group, right in front of you.
Truly beautiful.
As a yoga teacher, I see that a lot, but this was really different because we really dug deep into things people were incorporating into their everyday life with the exercises, with the meditation, with the dedication. I mean, this is a dedication to be able to do this every day. So
yeah, it is.
It means that you've got something in you that's shining, and you'd love for it to come out.
So, what we want to do is state the purpose of this session. Obviously, this session, we want to accomplish a couple things. We want to take all of you through a live group meditation session that's going to draw upon the power of the collective intent. The thousands of people that are on this call, I don't even know the latest number. I remember right before we jumped on, it was like 1,100 or 1,200 people. And I think we were expecting close to 5 to 6. And in fact, 23,000 people opted in to become a part of this today's session. So I don't even know what's going to happen. There's probably, thousands right now. So the collective intent of everybody, it's to manifest a goal voted on by the participants of this actual session. If you were opted in and you took our survey, we took the majority votes by a landslide. The winning goal was liberation from our limiting beliefs and fears by a landslide.
Yep.
And so we figured, why not do a group meditation around that collective intent so that we can all get liberated from our limiting beliefs and fears. So after that, we're going to dive into manifesting, power embedded in this kind of 12,000-year-old symbol that we've used as your guide to the 9-day meditation experience, and how each level represents a characteristic or a quality of life. And we're going to be using that as a focal point. And then when you see this, you're going to see how this, the ancient wisdom and the scientific evidence behind this symbol, it'll become very, very clear to you why it's so powerful.
Yeah, and then we're also going to be sharing our personal story, right?
Yeah.
And some of the stories that our students have had, and show people what's possible when you really start working on your mind, body, and spirit in the right way.
Then turning on that EQ, as people say,
Yes.
is turning on to not just becoming smarter, but how to become smarter, healthier, more in tune with your spirit and your being, and more in tune with your emotions and everything that's going around you. And so that kind of brings us to the next subject. So it's not going to be all just about meditation. Meditation is awesome, but if you use meditation with some of these other tools that we're going to be talking about on this class today, you're going to see that this is just meditation's a piece of it, which is very strong, but there's also many, many pieces that fit right in. And I think I'm just so excited to share this information.
Yeah.
It's just been years of research that finally is coming out and like reaching masses of people. And I can't believe this. So, and then after that, we're going to have a question and answer at the end of the session. So this session is going to be particularly powerful if you're facing a specific challenge in your life, in your career, in your finances, in your health, in your relationships. If you're trying to achieve a certain goal, if you're feeling a little bit of lostness, sometimes we feel lost. If you're feeling aimless, if you feel that you have this sense of untapped, deep potential inside of you that you need to realize and awaken. And I think that's what all of us are here to do on this planet in general. And, I'd like to also know if you're ready to step up to a bigger game in life, to more joy, to more success, to more abundance and connection with everything around you. So is that something that you would want to achieve? That kind of seems like I think all of us want that in life. So why do we want to do this? Why are we actually tapping into all this? Well, it's because it's going to show you how to tap into the potential and solutions that already exist within these practices. How scientifically proven methods and even ancient wisdom that has been accessed for thousands of years by some of the world's most successful people.
Yeah.
And what's really cool? Sometimes it's not even without them realizing it.
Yeah,
they're actually just doing it.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. And all of us are here together, and this seems like it's a lot of information and it's a lot of stuff, but we really just want you to relax, focus, turn off any distractions.
Get off Facebook.
Turn off your Skype.
Turn off your Skype. Get off your instant messengers.
Get off.
Put your phone on do not disturb or airplane mode, unless you're watching it from there.
Because what you're going to learn is going to have a major impact on your life, and maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next month, but it's going to play out for you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And stay all the way to the end, because at the end, there's going to be something amazing for you guys to check out, and you'll understand exactly how to elevate your realities from here on out. So let's kind of jump in here. We've always kind of looked at some of the power of self-evolution. What is self-evolution, and what's the science and the social proof behind that? How do we access that key to successful personal growth practices to make a conscious decision to keep evolving? I think that's important for us to understand, because we need to understand what it is that makes us tick. What is it that we want to keep evolving? Why do we want to keep becoming better humans? Yeah. Not all of us want to do that, but there's a good amount of people that do. And so, the act of self-evolution should become a daily habit. And the more you practice it, the stronger that muscle kind of becomes. Mm-hmm. The things you do every day, the habits you hold on to, the thoughts you think, the work you do, and the tools you use to do it, all of these should be aligned with the desire to get better and better and better, even if it's just an inch every single day without any attachments. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, right? It's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Yeah. And how do you do that?
Yeah, and it's really, that's what Project Yourself stance is, to how to find the ability to do that.
Because in this modern world that we live in,
right,
how do we incorporate some of this ancient wisdom?
It's really, we all can't, go and live in the Himalayas, we've really got to make this about how to do it today in our society. And that's what we do. We blend modern science and ancient wisdom to be able to create unique personal growth tools. Techniques, insights, and stuff that, like, all of us busy people, we're all really busy.
It's real. It's lasting. It has results.
Yes.
People feel long-term benefits from some of this wisdom. So it's really cool.
And it's cool. It's you don't have to move to an ashram. It's pretty awesome that it still incorporates the complex science and psychological results.
It's about the results.
Yes.
And we know that's what everyone on this session wants. And so, speaking of results, I know you have something that you doing on a daily basis that
Yeah, the breath work.
She does we both kind of like have our routines, but we kind of like meet in the middle, and that's how Project Yourself is like created, which is kind of really cool.
Yeah, and my daily routine, I always need breath work every day. You'll see in my guided meditations too, a lot of it is revolved around the breath as our centering. As our centering force, our life
steady
force.
Steady breath is steady mind. With steady mind, you make steady decisions.
And so just to share a little insight on our course, one of the breathing exercises we do and talk to you about in one of the levels is the skull shining breath, or Kapalabhati. It's the breath of fire. Kapalabhati is the Sanskrit word for it. And it's like a clarifying, almost tuning in breath. It really brings clarity to you, because, if you go into the science behind why with the breath, and and how it works. It's pretty amazing. And so it just helps me really juggle, and talking about the modern day, it helps me juggle a career and, a toddler and a family. And that's just what we want to share with all of you, to be able to do that.
To be able to blend modern day living, take some of these ancient principles, incorporate into your life without having that stress, without having that anxiety, without having that fear, those limiting beliefs. When I turn these into daily practices, I'm going to be getting into my story just a little bit. It was a traumatic experience for me to go through what I've went through as an entrepreneur and as a person. And slowly along the way, I started realizing I'm putting myself with these limiting beliefs and my health. And, I had to realize that it wasn't just about the money, but the perception of money and, that personal meaning to me and my relationships. And once I started incorporating these things into my life, like every aspect or every area of my life became better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's so amazing. And, Pooja and I have our daily practices that may be different, but both of our favorites is just meditation, being in that silent space within, and recognizing the power within, because that makes you see everything that you have inside of you, which is truly powerful. We talk about, how some of this wisdom, we have conversations of how old some of this knowledge is. It's like since mankind itself,
yes.
like from the creation of man, like some of this knowledge has
the source of all.
Exactly. And scientists believe that meditation or focused concentration is the turning point that contributed to the final phases of human biological evolution.
Yeah, I mean, it's like being traced back to the core of our most high functioning properties, like self-awareness, consciousness, self-control. And it makes sense now. If we want to reconnect with it, we've got to do it to maintain and
always want to upgrade those properties, right? And so for thousands of years, many methods have been devised for achieving meditation. You've got mantra-based meditation, you've got breathing meditation, transcendental meditation, kundalini, qigong, specific religious forms of meditation. There's so many ways of meditation, right? There's so many things out there.
Yeah, but ultimately it's really, you've got to choose what you want to use. That's what Amish and I do. We choose what we want to use. But here in Project Yourself, we make it easier. We want to teach a form of meditation that just strips away all that other stuff that Amish just mentioned. I mean, he named all these things that are esoteric and labels and
we go straight into personal transformation.
Yeah.
What is going to, I have this thing called mass scale impact.
Yes.
And we talk about that. It's how to make the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah. And it's, it's people like all of you here are obviously craving this. You're craving the meditation like we did and do for so many years. Mm-hmm. So, it's why we believe in our philosophy here.
Exactly. So, we believe in using science wherever possible to enhance ancient practices like meditation, which is why we're also big believers in technology like binaural beats and brainwave entrainment. Like if you're part of the Inner Riches meditation experience, we license technology from HoloSync and how that syncs your brain. We're going to be getting into some of this, even gadgets that track your brainwaves you can see here, and it gives you feedback as to how you're doing. So, I love experimenting with all this stuff. It's fun, and it's like, it's a part of my life.
Yeah.
And I've made it my life. And that's why I like to share my experiences. And we both love to share our experiences and bring that together.
Yes.
So yeah, our philosophy, I guess you could say, stretches across our entire personal evolution curriculum too. I mean, it's for busy people, like you and like me, and mm-hmm. We're all busy. We all have things to do, and we all want real, fast, lasting, provable results. And that's exactly what you're about to get. So stay with us here. Yes. Let's see. Again, meditation is just one of the many tools a person can use. I know we were talking about it, and that was the meditation stuff. So what we're looking for is creating extraordinary outcomes in your life. So pay attention to some of these really cool tools. It's just not about using meditation or some other conscious practice to become a little smarter or a little more relaxed or a little happier. It's about accessing the full beauty of life. It's about something bigger than each of us. It's about adding that beauty of life by projecting the absolute version of yourself in the world. It's about part of being a conscious movement to bring humanity forward. And so project yourself, there's two ways to look at it, and that's the really cool part when we were thinking of the name. It was like project yourself. So that's like getting yourself fixed so that you can project yourself, to project your perfect version into what you want to be. And that is exactly how it works.
Yep.
And
and speaking of bringing humanity forward, as Amis just mentioned, it's interesting because there's a lot of successful people in the history of mankind. I mean, they've used these tools to manifest ideas that change the world. I mean, like Gandhi, and there's just so many, and they literally unlock their infinite potential, we want to call it. I mean, we call it that because it takes your productivity, your creativity, your intuition to these amazing levels. Your ability to, I guess you can say, bend reality is what we keep talking
reality.
about. Yeah.
It's a term that
Superhuman.
we were thinking about when we first started Project Yourself. Bending reality was the key to what we were teaching, and we realized it's way beyond bending reality. Bending reality is like the end result, right?
Yes.
People want to be able to say like they manifest in real time, or like what they think of automatically just becomes a reality in their life. And I remember Pooja, like she witnesses, we watch how things like happen in our life, and we're like, did that just happen? Like, did that just happen? Like, I tell some of my team, and they're just like, whoa, like
this feels
is
like a movie sometimes. We joke
and
about that.
we all have the ability to tap into this power, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It feels so good. Some of these techniques may sound weird even.
Yeah.
But the fact is that, science is shining light on these practices. The more we see legendary people who have used them for centuries, we're simply using them ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Just like those who meditated were thousands of years, decades ago. I mean, we're gonna give you some cool examples. So
Totally.
let's jump into some of these.
Yeah, give you some of these
really, really cool examples. For example, we know that Tesla, one of the most revered inventors of history, that we are actually known, and he created, running electricity in our houses. Our houses are run by Tesla. It's because of Tesla that we were able to control current and create energy. And he's one of history's greatest scientists and inventors. But one of his less known traits is his belief in a form of intangible, quote unquote, sexual energy, which he claims he was able to transmute into drive and inspiration for his greatest inventions. And that's pretty interesting. He also had some other kind of practices and interesting things about him that we're going to get into in a little bit. But I want to get into some of these other people. He wasn't alone in that framework. We have Napoleon Hill. He also spoke in detail on this thing called sexual transmutation in his iconic book called Think and Grow Rich. He wrote in his book, and this is in the 1920s, we kind of had these like revolutions that came through time. One was like in the late 1890s, and one was around the 1920s. Then we had the 60s, 70s kind of movement, I guess you could say, right?
Everyone knows about the 60s.
These kind of spiritual kind of movements. And this was written around the 1920s, maybe a little bit earlier. And so Napoleon Hill said, sex transmutation is simple and easily explained. It means the switching of the mind from thoughts of physical expression to thoughts of some other nature. Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. Then we have Swami Vivekananda. He's ancient sage. I wouldn't say, ancient, but around the 1800s. He spoke at a huge organization, the World Organization of, I believe, like religion or spirituality, in the early 1890s. And he talked about looking at things in terms of energy and frequency. And he had a huge influence on Nikola Tesla, which many people didn't know. So now we're tying some of this ancient wisdom in the 1800s, we're talking in 1900s, with the modern science at the time.
Right. That was modern then.
Yeah.
And we're talking about,
and he was talking
amazing.
about how I'm going to be controlling energy and creating
Right.
energy. And so Vivekananda was like, you know, talking about sexual transmutation and looking at things about this type of energy. So you wonder, where did this information come from? So,
I mean, there's even, it's not only scientists too.
No,
you know, there's
it's not.
artists, and, you know, Leonardo da Vinci was probably another talented person who he was a rational scientist, but he was a firm believer in sexual transmutation. It's pretty awesome. I mean, apparently his inspiration was from the divine, from his own non-dogmatic interpretation of a higher power.
Yep.
So, I mean, Da Vinci was able to create that feeling, you know, of connection, purpose, and clarity by mastering the science, and by elevating his mind into what we call, I guess, quote unquote, the oneness mode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty unbelievable. And it's beautiful what he produced, right?
Exactly. So, you know, we're not going to be getting into sex or anything like that. We just wanted to talk about like what they call this and the type of exercises that they would use to create that. And it has nothing to do with sex.
No.
It's that desire and that feeling that is created. So let's move on here. Carl Sagan, I mean, you know, the greatest astrophysicist and skeptic. He was fascinated by science and even the debunking of superstition. But one of his core missions was encouraging people to apply a spiritual sense of wonder to life and the cosmos, an acknowledgement of the power of human emotion when channeled productively. Sorry.
No worries.
I had to mess that word up there. So, you know, he quite literally is an amazing person, and he was able to project that.
Yes,
right?
And there were women too. I mean,
Absolutely.
Marie Curie, she's a Nobel Prize winning scientist. She was the pioneer in the field of radioactivity. I mean, that's awesome. She was also an avid researcher of paranormal phenomena, and what that is it forces the invisible to the naked eye. And she had this curiosity, this inkling, you know, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, how would we have ever discovered
this invisible force called radio waves and magnetic fields?
I mean, how could we wouldn't know about that without that?
Think about this. She discovered radio waves and magnetic fields
by tapping in
and understanding and trying to understand paranormal phenomena and forces invisible to the naked eye.
I mean, no one at that time was doing that. So
yeah. And then Frank Lloyd Wright,
yes.
You know, the prolific American architect, you know, he designed thousands of structures. I mean, thousands upon thousands, I'd say, I think. Some of his most beautiful projects, like the Joshua Retreat, he used sacred geometry, you know, to create a specific sense of energy and attunement with the environment. So what is sacred geometry? Well, it's the study of archetypal patterns that create everything in our world. Look around you, and you'll see these recurring patterns and mathematical structures in nature, in flowers, in cells, in galaxies, in ancient structures like the pyramids, even in the timeless power of what we were talking about of the Shriantra. You see, there's a core pattern to almost everything within creation. Everything has a sequence to it. From pi to Fibonacci to the golden ratio. It's amazing to really see how all these patterns create everything in our world. I mean, look around you. You'll see these things everywhere.
I mean, it's all connected.
It's all connected. And how can we harness these powers? How do we use these powers to our advantage like they did in ancient times? How do we advance our knowledge of understanding of this? You know, everything has a pattern, like I was mentioning.
Yes, totally. And, you know, it's pretty cool because it
doesn't even have to be science, right?
No.
It goes beyond science sometimes.
Yeah, it's beyond what we can prove, quote unquote, sometimes, and what we see. You know, we've seen that with Helen Keller, for instance. She's blind and a deaf political activist that we know of. She spent her whole entire life campaigning for social issues like women's suffrage and labor rights. I mean, it's why I'm sitting here today with you guys, being able to do what I do without those rights. And so, but despite being blind and deaf, I mean, I can't even imagine that, you know, despite her handicap, she was able to describe profound transcendental mind experiences.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that she would explain was pretty wild.
And
you know?
It was like she was connected.
Flame of eternity.
In her soul, she described. Yeah, I should say. which is kind of the state that you want to invoke through the practices that we talk about, like meditation, visualization. I mean, that's the state that we would love to be at, right?
Yep.
And
we know Einstein, you know, we all love Einstein, right? He used visualization to learn and discover E equals MC squared. He says it. He out to figure that out.
Yep.
So these are just some of the stories that we're getting into. Of course, you know, some of these are like ancient, I wouldn't say ancient, but older kind of examples. And we're going to be showing you some modern examples as well. But we want to show you that this happens throughout time, and it's constantly happening, and it's becoming faster and faster nowadays because of the amount of information that's out there that we can teach ourselves.
Yes.
So here's another example from Elias Howe. He's the inventor of the sewing machine. Well, guess how he did it? He said he used lucid dreaming, and it let him see the obvious. He said he saw an arrow go through a tent. It got strung through a bunch of tents, and there he had it. In his mind, he saw a sewing machine. That's pretty interesting. Thomas Edison, he's famous for his naps. I mean, he used to always take these naps. And I remember when I was a little kid, I was fascinated by Thomas Edison. I wrote a report on him, actually. I grew up in Edison, New Jersey. I mean, I grew up in, actually was born in Edison, New Jersey. Then I moved to South Brunswick, New Jersey. I live in San Diego, in Sanitas now. But, you know, Thomas Edison was like my role model back in the day. I wrote reports on him. And like, he was the man. Like, he did a lot of cool things. But he used this thing that most people don't know about. It's called hypnagogia. And it's a scientific term for a state of hanging in and out of consciousness as you're drifting off to sleep. So he would take a cat nap in a chair with steel balls in his hands. And as he drifted off and relaxed, the ball or one of the balls or two of the balls would drop, waking him up, and boom, he had his instant genius idea right there on the spot.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
See, so can you see in cases like these, the line between science and spirituality are starting to blur? You can see how so many of the world's most accomplished visionaries and luminaries are actually tiptoeing on this line and bending the rules of reality as they do so, like everyone that we're talking about here. Well, what kind of out of this world results would you create if you were to tap into forces and powers like this? Many of which are simply lying dormant inside of you, where you're just waiting for you to activate them.
Yeah, and
so
I mean,
why don't we turn on the camera for a second before we go to the next section here, and we'll get back on camera.
Yeah.
And move back a little bit, and let's just talk, you know, about how society itself and our parents and our mentors and the people we care about may have unknowingly taken us away. And you know, maybe we'll talk about some of that for a second here. And there we go. And we know that this power is inside of us. And I think that we've all been
there's like, you know, your job and family obligations and just all these shortcomings.
Just go, and
you know,
shortcomings.
The government and I don't know, there's so much stuff that just bogs you down. I mean,
it's that causes everything inside of us.
Yeah, it causes everything inside of us to almost turn off. You know, the intuitive nature that we are born with, it just turns off, and we just keep going. Especially modern day, especially in our country and in many of the countries that don't let you take a siesta in the middle of the day or don't have these great ways to slow down. We are just on the go, 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 go. You know, I'm sure many of you can relate to that. I mean, and it's really about trying to figure out how to access that power.
It's not about some like airy fairy motivational, inspirational talk when you get off the stage and you get off and be like, oh, I'm gonna do so much, and then like 2 days later you're like back to normal. Grind. Real everyday tools. That's what we're about. These are what some of these things are about. We're gonna jump right in. Let's go.
All right.
We're gonna get into some of these exercises. Let's get into some of these exercises, and we're gonna get into some of the science. So that's what I wanted to talk about briefly here. Is the epigenetics, and epigenetics is what is going to show potential. It's a scientific truth, you know, without going into too much detail. Epigenetics demonstrates that the choices and thoughts that flow through you every single day will start programming you on a molecular level to keep on making those choices on autopilot.
Yes.
So imagine how your life would change if you could turn the best things about yourself, the good decisions and habits, the conscious practices, the peak states of creativity and intuition, into things you do on autopilot.
Yes.
As effortlessly as breathing, brushing your teeth. And on the flip side, imagine the kind of downward spiral you have if you didn't get into this stuff and you kept on feeding your negative side by living in a way that doesn't serve your highest potential. You see how it works is fascinating. It's all connected to how the DNA inside of our bodies actually hold particular instructions, like how a computer program is programmed to automatically perform certain tasks. The thing is, that program can be rewritten based on our behavior and the things we do. Experiences, things we eat even affect how our DNA is programmed.
Yeah, actually, a friend of mine has this awesome analogy for this. I want you all to just picture a ski slope, right? I mean, the more and more skiers that go down a particular part of the slope, it kind of carves a path on that slope, and then you eventually see a trail, right? The trail develops. So rewriting your behavior is actually all about repeatedly doing those things that correspond with the person that you want to be. I mean, if you want to be punctual, then you start being on time more often. If you want to start procrastinating, then you start to do things earlier. I mean, and as time I mean, as a writer, I really appreciate Ralph Waldo Emerson. I mean, back in the 1800s, he echoed a discovery through a theory he called transcendentalism. So what that's about is it's realizing the key to your full intellectual and spiritual potential is by conditioning yourself to become more self-reliant, by acknowledging your inner greatness, which is, so wonderful, and knowing that we all are divine. So, I mean, bear in mind that this was over a century before epigenetics. I mean, think about that. That's awesome.
Yeah. The message is simple. What you do matters. Nature versus nurture. It's one thing. But how you evolve your mind, body, and spirit truly matters. And no matter what's holding you back right now, whether it's a belief or a habit, a person, or some personal weakness, remember that the key to becoming a version of who you are and who you want to be is capable of overcoming these obstacles. It's simple to take one step at a time by using conscious practices to upgrade yourself on a molecular level. Mm-hmm. It's hardly surprising that drug companies are already exploring epigenetics to formulate pills we can swallow to change our DNA in an instant. Mm-hmm. But remember that the natural way to doing this is to absorb conscious practices into your daily life and stick to them. And that's precisely what I'm going to show you exactly how to do in just a second. We already have so many scientific evidence and studies and research for, it shows how to reduce stress. It shows you how it helps you sleep. It shows you how to enhance your creativity, heals your mind and body. In recent studies at institutions, including Harvard, it even shows how it strengthens your DNA by turning off your bad genes that cause destructive habits, negativity, stress, sickness, switching on the good genes that make you happier and healthier and smarter.
Yeah, I mean, the scientific proof is like flooding, and for other conscious practices too, that we're going to show you how to use in your life. And those include visualization, sacred geometry, binaural beats, heart intelligence, there's quantum mechanics, spiral breathing, there's lucid dreaming, even food programming, planetary frequencies, chanting, chakra balances, brainwave entrainment, sexual transmutation, and there's just so much more.
The list goes on and on, right? So there's so much proof that's coming out that this stuff exists. So, we've created a program for you. It's the Project Yourself course that helps you harness all of these practices and more through a mind-expanding 9-day challenge journey, similar to the meditation 9-day experience that you just took. but with a far wider scope and positive effect on your life. The course is called Project Yourself, Home Training Program, and you can check it out at projectyourselfnow.com. I highly, highly recommend checking this out and trying the course for yourself. But for now, let's continue on with the lesson here.
And so, I just want to let you know there's one tiny example of science. I'm thinking about silence and meditation of science that finally validates ancient wisdom, and that's in the chakras. So this is pretty awesome topic. I love the chakras. These are the 7 energy centers in the body that you probably hear about them a lot in Eastern medicine and well-being. And you've probably heard that you can work on your chakras to elevate different parts of your life. But there's a concrete scientific proof for this phenomenon.
I know that a lot of people think like, oh, chakras and chakras, right, and like, oh my God, my chakras are locked and all that.
Yeah.
Look, it has nothing to do with that. Like, there's actually very scientific evidential proof that these things exist. In fact, if you take your spine and you were to take it out of your body, there's 7 nerve bundles that come out of your spine and attach to your organs. So all the way from the top of your head all the way to your tailbone, there's bundles of the nerves that come out, 7 bundles of nerves, just like 7 chakras.
Yep.
And those bundles connect to your organs. So if you can tap into that and you can control that, then you can control your organs.
Totally.
And you can be in touch with them.
There's also this study that Amisha's talking about this, ancient, amazing knowledge that this doctor, her name's Dr. Valerie Hunt at the University of California did. And she actually found what he's talking about, these nerve bundles. She used an electromyograph and she measured the human body, and then she found radiation coming out from where each chakra was, where each chakra should be. That's unbelievable. That validates cool. what these bundles are. Dr.
Hiroshi Motoyama also found that electrical activity occurs in these exact areas, these chakras or these nerve bundles along your spine of yoga practitioners, more so than a normal person.
Wow.
So we get even deeper into the structures inside of the Project Yourself course, like I mentioned earlier, but more on that in just a second. Another fascinating thing is about our brains, right? The pineal gland in your brain is an important gland. Most people don't realize how important our endocrine system actually is. It is what actually regulates your whole entire body. All the fluids that come in and out of your body, it regulates all your organs. It regulates quite literally your body. Your pineal gland or your pineal gland, it's pronounced, I say pineal gland. And that organ in your brain is made up of 99% water, pure water. And we look at some of these ancient pictures and we look at some of these ancient knowledge of the pineal gland, and they talked about this third eye. Well, your pineal gland is located right in the center of your brain. It regulates your thirst, your hunger, your sex drive, and it secretes a fascinating substance known as DMT. And it's a chemical that's linked to near-death experiences that causes experiences beyond common states of awareness. And there's some hallucinatory substances found in South America in a shamanic brew called ayahuasca. And so this is why the pineal gland is known in many ancient cultures, the seat of your soul. In Chinese medicine, it's known as the acupuncture point for calming the mind. There's a lot of meditation and personal growth practices focusing on strengthening and unclogging that third eye, which studies now show become calcified and stunted due to our intake of toxic chemicals like fluoride and food preservatives.
It's pretty cool to see that. So then, you and I might ask, what happens when you... It was awesome. His name was Sean Thornton. He was 19 years old, very young. And, he sadly developed a tumor right on his pineal gland. It was a brain tumor. And, it took his doctors 10 years to realize. Intense migraines, but some amazing stuff started to happen. He started having these visions that were just unbelievable. Some of these visions, there were complex patterns that were totally unlike anything he had ever done before in his art before. It was crazy. So, take a look at some of these visions. It's awesome.
And then we have Graham Hancock. He's a famous writer and theorist, and he says, it may be that DMT makes us able to perceive what the physicists call dark matter. The 95 at the present remains, at the present, it just remains invisible to us. We cannot see it and we cannot sense it with our instruments. So he's saying that it is that connection to the dark matter. And so this topic starts becoming more and more interesting because your body already produces this, and your pineal gland, which is really important to seeing and creating your perfect future and your perfect vision of yourself, sits right there and in your endocrine system. This is really cool. I was just looking at Joe here. He's just giving me some notes here. I mean, not notes, but he's like kind of giving me cues. So what we're going to do here is let's move on.
Yeah.
And we just talked about the pineal gland and, really just digging into that. If you're really interested in digging into more of this knowledge, again, projectyourselfnow.com and check out what we have. We have a lot more of this information deeper in there.
Yeah, it's all in there.
Okay. So I know that we have a couple of slides here about some interesting topics of a hologram and the universe and quantum mechanics and quantum physics.
Yeah.
And we get into black holes and things like that. I don't know if we need to really get into this too much. So let's just keep going here and get into some more cool things here. Let's see. We have Juan. No. Well, let's just skip through Juan here.
We'll get to the
this is all the physicist stuff. Okay. Okay. And we have some. Okay, here we go. Let's go to this slide right here. Every particle of matter, or Vivekananda. You want to just start from there?
Let's do every particle.
Every particle.
Right,
Okay,
cool.
So we skip past Vivekananda. He also talks about vibration, and I could go on.
Yeah,
but
Vivekananda's
just
awesome.
for time's sake and the physics and all that stuff, we'll leave that for the live cast.
Yeah.
We have Nassim Haramein who's going to be joining us on the live cast. Really excited to have him. He's a physicist. So for all the physics fans, okay, we'll skip this for right now. We'll get into a little bit deeper on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, so why should you, even really care about any of this stuff? Well, on a molecular level, you are the universe and the universe is you. And by working with yourself on a molecular level too, it's possible for you to change not just yourself and the outcomes you experience, but even your own experience of reality. The question is, what kind of reality do you really want to project for yourself? There are way more fascinating phenomenons and scientifically validated ancient wisdom that we can hope to cover in this session. So I do encourage you to do your own research after this session ends into more subjects, including Dr. Bruce Lipton's remarkable research on how your DNA can be shifted by our beliefs, the ancient and science of astrology. Not the kind you read in newspapers, not the horoscopy, you're going to find a boyfriend next week kind of stuff. The real stuff, how planets have influences on us. The ancient well-being systems like Ayurveda, the holistic healing systems of Ayurveda. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that on Thursday's live cast as well. How people meditating in large groups can channel their collective intent, like we're going to be doing on this call in just a little bit. We're seeing this starting to show in society that it's reducing crime rates, even ending wars. And so we're really just starting to tap into some of this information, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, and all of us here together are not alone in our interest in this kind of stuff. I mean, if you look closely, you'll realize that conscious practices and ancient wisdom are moving away from that fringe, and they're edging into mainstream. You see it everywhere now, right? So that's pretty awesome and pretty cool. And that's why we really believe we're looking at a tipping point here. It's going to change the way people live, everyone around us. And I recently heard a stat as I see people in yoga studios all the time, and the number of yoga practitioners has literally doubled from over a decade ago. That's 70% of Americans are trying to meditate, and 20 million do it regularly. That's an amazing statistic.
That's really an amazing statistic. And I know by now you've surely seen the stuff about GMOs and organic foods and how forming higher states of consciousness around topics like that, and how people are choosing to eat organic and grow their own food and give up harmful GMOs and fast food, and how exercise and healthy lifestyle movements are picking up steam, how some of the world's top movers and shakers are opening up about their conscious practices, how we're starting to question the inequality in financial and economic systems, how some of us are choosing to live off the grid.
Yep.
The list goes on and on and on, and it's so fascinating, you know. A huge fan of meditation, and the insurance company Aetna, one of America's highest rated revenue companies, well, its CEO Mark Bortolini, has turned mantra meditation and yoga into a company culture with free classes of all. And there's an article for this. Like, this isn't just stuff that's being made up. And that more than a quarter of their 50,000 employees have taken them up on this offer. And guess what happened? Thanks to policies like this. The stock value has tripled, stress has gone down 28%, sleep quality has gone up 20%, and pain has gone down by 19%. Employees have even gained 62 extra minutes of productivity per week. His free classes are now overbooked, and it all started when, you know, Bertolini himself started exploring meditation after a skiing accident that actually left him in constant pain. When the pills didn't work, he took up meditation. So Aetna's not the only one. We have massive companies like Nike, Apple, Google, General Mills, Wall Street firms like Goldman Sachs are all encouraging their employees to practice and engage in conscious practices like meditation and visualization. The growing awakening even extends into sports. Remember the winners of the 2014 Super Bowl, the Seattle Seahawks? Well, guess what their coach Pete Carroll added to their training regimen before the Super Bowl? Yep, meditation. Russell, the team's offensive tackle player, says meditation is as important as lifting weights and being out here on the field for practice. And it's about quieting the mind.
Can you imagine a football player saying that?
I
That's
know,
awesome.
right?
Yeah. I mean, there's more too. I mean, did you guys know that stock market traders are quietly
these stories about ourselves
personal
and how this has affected us. You know, before leading up to Project Yourself, you know, I go back to the Morpheus quote here, kind of saying, you know, there's a reason why this was brought to me. There's a reason for everything, right? We talked about how that is something deep inside of us that we want to tap into. You know, I grew up as a troubled kid. You know, I grew up in a cash-strapped family. My mom encouraged me to have a deep interest in turbulent upbringing. It was pretty crazy. I actually had a lot of crazy things happen to me as a teenager, from, you know, hacking. I got into computer hacking, and I had the FBI show up my house, and it created all this stress and all this like crazy stuff in growing up. And as an adult, I had this energy inside of me. I just didn't know what it was. And as an adult, I channeled some more of that energy into computer skills, to helping people, to making money online, to, you know, driving Ferraris and Maseratis. And I made the Inc. 500 list, and I had this ocean villa, and I had built this awesome company, and I used that energy to do that. Yet something was missing from my life. I was missing a deeper sense of purpose, a deeper sense of connection. Zoomed in. And I decided to revisit my conscious practices that I had let go for like 4 or 5 years. I was like, where did I go wrong? I was overweight, and I was dying, and it was just crazy. And so I started practicing again and digging even deeper into these ancient practices to bring myself back. I sold my companies along the way. And I have to admit, it wasn't easy. It's not like something suddenly clicked inside of me. You know, it's something that I had to, it's almost like I had gone into this like low vibrational state and I was stuck. And I needed to get back into that higher vibrational state. And I had to let go of things that I was doing at the time, like alcohol and smoking and, you know, buying a watch for like, you know, 15 grand that got me like high for some reason. And I was like, what kind of life am I living? And slowly my life started improving. My health got better. I've dropped 20 something pounds since then. My fatty liver had disappeared. My adrenal failure disappeared. My relationship with my family got better. I mean, Pooja can even say that, you know, my daily habits got better. I started enjoying my work more. I found a state of empowerment within me. I had this big revelation that finally happened, that I would start a movement to help others tap into this deeper, deep potential within us. And that we would use this movement's momentum to elevate the entire planet. That was my intention at that moment. So 3 years ago, I started to put everything together that I learned about awakening a person through that journey that I had been through in my whole entire life, raising higher states of consciousness, you know, learning some of this ancient wisdom, the science, the growth, the practices, you know, and I've tried to combine that all into one thing, which is project yourself. The 9 days that you guys learned, some of the content that's on this online class that we're teaching is all a culmination of all of this stuff. 3 years ago, I decided to take that and use my marketing skills and my online, you know, expertise that I had to spread this wisdom across the world. And now there's over, you know, 75, close to 100,000 people that already do this. And with this latest launch of this, you know, 9-day Inner Riches experience, we've doubled that. Yeah. And, you know, we're just so grateful. And so I just want to kind of flash kind of like we did before, just to show some of these experiences of what people are experiencing. So Joe, if you, you know, before we get into that, actually, why don't we'll just show these two, right? How about that? Okay. And then we'll show these two, and then we'll get Pooja to briefly talk about her experience, and then we'll get into a couple more. Great. And then we'll get into a meditation. Cool. So here's one, Mary McMillan. You know, she shared that the exercises work. She's been trying to forgive herself and her friend for 10 years, and she finally did. Carol Larson said, I have long had a goal of creating a world for enriching people's physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual well-being. Since starting Project Yourself, I have been introduced to 2 opportunities for fulfilling my goal. It's getting my creative juices flowing. So, wow, you know, awesome. Those are just 2 of the testimonials. Pooja, you want to briefly talk about your experiences from Project Yourself and maybe your personal story of, you know, watching me go through this and wanting to put this out, and then you jumping in and helping with the meditations and, you know, from your standpoint.
Yeah, totally. I mean, meditation, you know, I thought I'd ever really be doing here next to Amish. I mean, we both didn't know we'd be on this path together, because I always showed an interest in meditation. Actually started with yoga.
And just real quick, we're going to be taking everyone on a live meditation
we are today.
On here, like we promised.
Pretty powerful.
Just in about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes or so. Or maybe sooner if we can. We're going to try and get through these slides as quick as possible.
So I won't share too much here, so we can get into the meditation. I'll just quickly dive into just the fact that seeing Amish's transformation for me was amazing and beautiful, since you know, yoga and meditation was kind of like it was almost like my way of life, my path. I just, you know, I can't explain what an amazing process it's been to be together with him and do that. When I first started meditating, I actually was given a book about guided meditations from my best friend. And I thought, oh, this is how I can incorporate my physical yoga practice into feeling and tapping into my mind. And when I started doing that, I was living in New York, I remember, in this crazy small apartment with 3 roommates. And, you know, I don't even know how small the rooms were, not even supposed to be rooms, I think. And I was in the hustle and bustle of the subway in New York City. And it was like finding the sanctuary. I would find peace and clarity in everything I did. It was kind of like connecting. And as a child, I always had this deep connection to those around me, to things around me, to people. And it was like finding that. And ultimately now here we are, fast forward, and, you know, using that connection and creative energy that I've always had as a writer for these meditations.
For these meditations. I'm really excited to share today's
awesome.
About, like you said, we're going to be getting into limiting beliefs and fears and really digging into this exercise of the Shriantra. So just wanted to turn on the camera for a second just to share some of that. We've had a pretty interesting upbringing, both of us.
Yeah, we both had really spiritual mothers.
It kind of like merged along the way. And so we're really excited to bring this to you. So let's go ahead and we have a couple of videos that we want to share with you from some of our members and some of just the experiences that people have had from this. So yeah, I just would love to share these with you. The audio is not working. Sorry, that was just probably about a minute of no audio. We're going to fix that issue right now. We got to change the input, I believe, on that to pick up that. So we'll do that right now. And let's see what we got going on here. You all right? What do you need? Okay, we'll just keep going here then.
We need to make some time to go.
Okay, we'll share these clips in a little bit, I guess. Really want to share these with you, so we'll get to that in just a second. Basically, you know, the Project Yourself home training course is a scientifically sound, you know, mind, body, spirit experience. And so, you know, we've taken all of that and we have access to a powerful range of simple daily or weekly deep dive practices, which in turn will allow them to access their full human potential. Everyone who goes through this, that's what we've kind of done, is like we've allowed them to experience their full human potential. So it's a multimedia course packed with tutorial videos, guided meditations, audio exercises, and tons more. It's all neatly laid out in an easy to follow 9-part journey that you can easily fit into your daily schedule and study at your own pace. At its core, the Project Yourself program is a collection of experiences and insights so mind-expanding that they'll leave a permanent mark on your conscious and subconscious mind and force you to change your perspective on reality for the better. It doesn't matter if you consider yourself the spiritual type or more of a hard fact, scientific kind of person, because Project Yourself actually straddles the line between the tangible and the intangible. In fact, it hits that sweet spot between the known and the unknown. It gives you real results that you feel, see, and touch, like it already has for, you know, the thousands upon thousands of members and the hundreds of thousands of people now that have actually gone through the Inner Witches experience. You can see more about this of the course for yourself. You can go to projectyourselfnow.com, and throughout the program, you'll learn how to invoke your 5 senses plus your 6th sense of intuition to achieve a higher state of consciousness. You know, you experience sensations and emotions and outcomes that you would probably think never thought possible. Whether it's at work or in your health or in your relationships, you might have tried a few methods of doing this, like meditation or visualization, but this goes way deeper. We have put together this experience, like the intuition and your emotions and senses. When I say sensations, we actually go into your 5 senses. So we actually have certain experiences that we've researched and we've put together that say, looking at the color orange actually gets you into deeper creative states. And when you drink mint tea, what actually happens and how what is actually happening to you. So we stimulate your 5 senses so that you learn how to anchor things into your life. And you can anchor those things into your life to get you into deeper, deeper, deeper states of connection. And so this is a multimedia, multi-sensory experience that we've put together, which is really cool. We put a lot of different scenarios in there, like audios that drift you upwards into more relaxed states of mind, color psychology, like I mentioned, honing in on intuition on a level that's so sharp, you'll know exactly what the person you're talking to really feels about what you're saying. And so the course comes with 9 levels.
Yeah,
you want to go over some of those 9 levels?
Sure. Yeah. There's 9, and when you do these 9 levels, you want to study each one at your own pace. But we do recommend that you do at least one of them every few days on your first run through. And so, for instance, in level 1, you're going to be learning a powerful breathing exercise that vaporizes your stress, and it actually fills you with this instant rush of well-being.
And breathing is obviously crucial, and we've talked about that. And a lot of this information is out there, and we've taken some of the best breathing exercises and put it into this format.
Yes, and like Amisha's saying, it's simply breathing slowly just totally gives you this sense of gratitude. I mean, it channels that for you. So it's a great one to try to calm down and get clarity and try to help you with work or whatever's overwhelming you. So that's pretty awesome. And then in level 2, we're actually going to train you how to master that phenomenon we were talking about before called sexual transmutation. In Sanskrit, that is actually called vairagya. So this
is the same thing that we talked about before with Tesla and Vivekananda and Napoleon Hill. And it essentially means going within and drawing on your purest and most primal source of energy, your raw personal magnetism. That's what it really comes down to.
That's what fuels you for your creative expression.
It's your creative expression. So using that energy to fuel your creative expression, whether you're making a piece of art or you're studying for something or you have a particular skill that you want to enhance or figuring out how to nail a business deal or even solve a problem, like that particular technique is used for that. So check out Vairagya. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty powerful technique.
Totally. And, I mean, just as an example, do you ever see a celebrity or TV or media person just have this like vibration and this undeniable presence or power? I mean, I'm sure many of you can attest to that. And what they say is that person has actually consciously or subconsciously learned how to transmute that sexual energy. So that's pretty cool. So we teach you how to do that, and give you some, head first immersion exercises using your muscles, your breath, your visualization, and your ability to focus your energy in the core, and then powerful exercise when you unleash it and give you those results. And so as we move on with the levels.
Yeah, we have level 3. You'll learn a little known technique called, the art of spiral breathing. Now, I know a lot of meditation gurus have their own version of breathing exercises. Just wait till you try this one. It lets you tap into the energy centers in your body, also known as the chakras. And we'll also, we also refer to something called the golden spiral. We talked about some of those mathematical coincidences. So we get into some of that, the golden spiral and the Fibonacci, and how that can actually tap into your body. Yes. So that's some of level 3. Obviously, there's so much more. These are just some of the things that you can do your research on, and that's already included inside of the Project Yourself course. If you're interested in checking out what we do have to offer, go to projectyourselfnow.com. We're going to keep going through this, and then we have the beautiful guided meditation that we're going to go through. And we're going to keep educating here for the next about 15, 20 minutes here. And then we'll take questions after all that. So in level 4, we're going to dive into the science known as heart math, which is a tool for evolving your heart's intelligence. It's not just about cardiac care or calculus in your heart or anything like that. It's about your heart's intelligence. And did you know that your heart has 40,000 neurons and intuitive signals that get sent out of your heart? And we call love and happiness and care, and that we feel it from our heart. These things are all positively affect our emotions and health, especially when it comes to handling stress. stress.
Yeah.
So heart math shows you what you can do to balance your heart rhythm, reduce stress hormones, and boost your immune system. Did you know that the electromagnetic pulses of your heart can actually be measured up to a mile away, while the electromagnetic pulse of your brain only a couple of 100 feet away? So there's a reason for that. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then in level 5, it's something that this was, I guess, our meditation as children that Amisha and I probably did, that we learned. And these chants that we give you, some of them are very new, you know, such as different statements that you can use. And some of them are actually ancient that we've been studying, you know, for a long time. And we realized that they hit different parts of your brain.
There's
when
studies
you're
being
chanting
done
some of
that
the text.
these chants, that they reflect vibrations, sound vibrations in certain parts of your brain, which hit certain parts of your endocrine system, such as your pineal gland and your hypothalamus, organs within kind of your brain and your pituitary gland, and you know, some of the stuff that's in your kind of upper region, I guess you could say, and sometimes they're even felt in your body.
Yes, and you know, it gives you this strength within yourself, depending on what you choose to focus on. But you know, we don't want you to worry. You don't really have to use these things like a chant or anything like that. You can, like, out loud, you can even just chant them internally. You don't have to, you know, scream them out loud or anything. You can chant them gently. I mean, there's this science called somatics in that, and it's really powerful. It's the physical representation of a vibration, and it's really
also spelled
powerful.
CYMATICS as well. So somatics or somatics. CY is actually the devices that you can make and visualize that. So CYMATICS is really cool as well. So that's what level 5 is. Just getting into vibration, getting into sound vibration, and how sound vibration is the origin of creation of man. Again, we're going to be getting into some of the deeper subjects on Thursday. Today, we just wanted to touch upon some of the different levels, and we really want to tell you what the Project Yourself course is about, and how powerful some of the information in there is. The next thing we're going to be covering a little bit in the program is being fearless. We've talked about this. That's what the meditation today is going to be getting into. You're going to learn how to confront your fears head on, get out into the open, and tap into a new reality. If you remember the guy who jumped out of the edge of Earth, imagine jumping out at the edge of Earth, 128,000 feet above Earth, and his body broke the sound barrier on his way down. That's crazy. That's pretty fearless. We cover a lot of becoming fearless and just getting rid of that, because fear is nothing. Fear does not exist. Fear is a form of energy that is taking you over. If you feel fear towards anything, it's probably because you're not addressing it head on. You're not looking at it from a perspective of clarity. So you're looking at it from a perspective of it's going to do something to you, so you run away from it. And if you put yourself outside of that, you can achieve anything you want. So think about that for a second. It's really, really, really powerful when you can have that power within you. So the guided meditation that we're going to do in just a little bit will take you on that. Then we have food programming. That's level 7. We talk about food programming and water programming. This is just one of the many topics, again, that we talk about. There have been several studies done programming water by Dr. Masaru Emoto. There have been studies that you can actually program water, and water is programmable. It holds a structure. It holds memory. And so if you're putting that into your body, and your body is made up of 60 to 70% water, well, then guess what? If our organs are made up of, 60, 70% or more of water, well, guess what? That water that you're taking in every day has a structure that needs to be embedded into your organs, needs to be embedded into your blood, into your DNA. And so your pineal gland, or your pineal gland that we talked about before, you think about this, it's filled with water. Babies and kids also have more water as a percentage than adults do. Babies are born inside a water sac.
Yeah, and it's about what you do, that programs this internal water. I guess that's what we're talking about here.
Yep.
And then level 7, we'll also talk about lucid dreaming and how to use lucid dreaming. And it's truly like this amazingly interesting topic. And you don't. So it's a gift and curse, because you can use it when you want lucid dreaming, right? You don't realize you're dreaming, but you're consciously awake, and you think, wait a minute, I'm up and doing stuff. So what's going on. And you're literally creating these dreams. I mean, it's like creating that dream, like we talked about. I think the inventor of the sewing machine, he created this dream.
Yeah, he lucid dreamed, and he just, you'll realize that when you're doing that, you don't realize you're dreaming, and you're consciously awake, and you're creating that. You spend 1/3 of your life dreaming.
Wow.
If you spend 1/3 of your life dreaming, you're not just doing that for any reason, right? There's this new study that proves your brain is actually cleaning itself and going over what it did the previous day or 2 days or weeks or months and figuring out better ways to live life. Your brain is actually getting smarter at night. So if you think about that and you incorporate lucid dreaming and conscious dreaming, it's a very powerful exercise.
Yes.
So it's something just to kind of get out there and teach you guys about. Next thing we're going to train you on is a phenomenon, extremely potent phenomenon, sacred geometry. This phenomenon is mysterious and transformational to anyone who finds its secrets, right?
Yep.
The basic concept is that there are recurring mathematical symbols and patterns and sequences found everywhere around us, in man-made, the UN headquarters, in nature, in shells, in galactic swirls, and even in you.
Yeah.
And so tapping into these symbols and sequences not only balances your energy fields, but can also help your mind access complex information in order to reinvent your reality. Just wait on this. You'll start seeing Fibonacci sequences everywhere. Once you start like researching it, you'll be like, whoa, that flower has that thing that I was just researching, like built into it. And it's everywhere around us. And most people don't talk about it. And the fact that it's found everywhere in nature. It's truly powerful.
Amisha actually will, tell our little daughter. He'll say, look at this sequence in here, and she gets it. She just looks at it. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
And then one other thing that we want to talk about that's included in the course as well. We're obviously teaching it now as well. It's an exercise that turns you into what I call the human satellite magnifying glass or dish, and basically makes you into a manifesting machine. It quite literally activates like that third eye that we talk about. You get to channel your energy and you get to direct it where you want it to go. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but this exercise alone is 50 times stronger than any typical manifesting or visualization exercise that you'll ever find. All you have to do is sit and hold your hands in a certain way and focus your thoughts and follow what I mentioned in this level. And it's a very powerful exercise. In fact, you just take your hands and you make a kind of like a 90-degree angle out of them and you put them right by your forehead. And it's 50 times stronger. And there's scientific proof of measuring the energy that goes through your body that this position works. That's why ancient times they have their hands in prayer position. Your hands together with your hands at a 50% angle or against your heart or against your head. This is all ancient knowledge that is now just starting to be proven with modern science. It's really cool. In level 8, we talked about some things in the Inner Riches meditation experience, but we're going to be explaining it in even more detail. It's a problem-solving exercise. Someone else or a group of people and follow a specific set of brainstorming steps to light up a question that most of us spend our lives chasing. Anything you want to this group of people. You can have anyone you want inside this group of people. This exercise alone is worth its weight in gold because the clarity and the peace of mind it can give you is tremendous.
Yeah.
You're getting answers from your higher self.
Totally.
And that is what you're doing. And you're doing this by surrounding yourself with a specific set of people. It's really, really powerful stuff.
It is. And then one of the core concepts you're going to be learning about in level 9 is what we call the gateway to creation, the pineal gland. And as we talked about the pineal gland earlier and how it controls your DMT secretions, your sleep, your intuition, and creativity, level, we give specific steps, including meditations, that really strengthens your pineal gland. And it's pretty amazing. So, and another fascinating subject we touch upon in level 9 is quantum mechanics, which, we didn't get too much into today, and physics and how to harness it to get downloads of what we call timeless wisdom from the universe. I mean,
and that wisdom, we've all had those like aha.
Yes.
We call them aha moments, or we call them epiphanies. And I still remember this story, the word eureka. I'm not sure if people really know where eureka was actually invented.
Right.
The word eureka was invented because when they discovered displacement, forgot his name. Oh my God, it's just dropping my mind right now. But anyway, he got into the bathtub and it was too much water, and the water got displaced and it came out of the bathtub, and he had discovered displacement. That when you put something in water, that displacement of volume of energy, right? So it's really cool that the word eureka, that aha moment, that boom, oh my God, I figured out this answer. That is actually gamma waves that get bursted out of your brain. Gamma waves are the most potent wave that is known to man. Gamma waves have the shortest radio wave frequency, so they look like super compressed. We have radio waves, we have infrared, we have microwave, we have X-rays. This wave is the strongest known to man. When we have those aha moments, those moments from the universe, we're like, whoa.
Yeah,
So,
you just hit with this realization.
yeah.
You know?
So again, that's just a fraction of some of the powerfully authentic and scientifically proven wisdom tools and insights that you're going to find inside of Project Yourself. This is my life's work. It's our life's work. It's already helped and empowered so many people from all walks of life. And I would love for you to experience this as well, because I know that it can change anyone's life. So even more so, because really, it doesn't matter how busy you are, what skill level you're at. When it comes to meditation or any sort of conscious practice, this course is designed for busy people, because I'm a busy person too. Yeah. I'm an entrepreneur. I have multiple businesses, but I also love creating. I love creating this material. I love researching this. I'm a researcher. I'm a scientist, actually, I should say. And I'm an entrepreneur, which makes me double busy. So the steps are easy to use. They're easy to follow, and you can study them at your own pace, even if it's just a few minutes a day. What's important is that you stay consistent, determined, and passionate about the process and the results you want, that you want it to give to you. You know, you got to keep that in mind. So remember, head over to projectyourselfnow.com and try the Project Yourself program. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So I know that, you know, even if you're not happy with it for any reason, you know what? People say no questions asked. We are going to ask you a question. We're going to ask you why you're going to return it, because most people don't. And that's the only question, and we'll give you your money back. There's no reason for us to hold on to your money. We know that you're absolutely going to love this, and we know that it's going to have tremendous breakthroughs. There's guided meditations, there's experiences, there's exercises, there's knowledge. Just what we talked about is just touching and scratching some of the stuff that's covered in this course. Yeah. So projectyourselfnow.com. In a few moments, before we get into that, I want to talk to you about an important symbol, and it's the core of Project Yourself. The symbol's called the Shriantra. It's one of the most powerful meditation, manifesting, and creation tools on the face of the planet, quite honestly. So powerful, in fact, that I've got a tattoo of this thing, of the Shriantra on my back, and it's the only tattoo I've ever gotten in my life, and I did it when I was a kid because I was just obsessed with it, which is kind of cool.
So, and then, you know, I mean, this ancient symbol science has proven its potency in enriching the human experience. I mean, it's awesome. There's so much scientific evidence around it. You know, I didn't learn any of this in my residency. So this is all stuff it's awesome stuff. The Shriantra is an ancient manifesting symbol that is at least, I mean, this is going to blow your mind, 12,000 years old. It's been used for thousands of years for meditation and concentration. It's revered by scientists, not only mystics, but alike, you know, both. And we've personally used it for study and contemplation, which is why we're presenting it here. It's like, it's this amazing symbol. And yantra itself in Sanskrit, it means power diagram. So if you think about that, I mean,
and the Shriantra means king of power diagrams. Right. And the English translation of that is the instrument of creation.
I mean, think about that for a second. It's instrument of creation. Yes.
So that's why we decided to, you know, disassemble it and explain it to you and create this 9-level experience for you based on this diagram, because it's so powerful and you're going to be learning more about it. The symbol is observed in Vedic and Tantric, you know, science as well. It's the individual's gateway to liberation and understanding the entire universe. Yet its power is, you know, not completely validated by mystics, but it's also validated by modern day science and researchers. So an EEG study by Russian scientists at Moscow University and the Indian Science Journal found that the Shriantra can induce a meditative or hypnotic state of mind just by looking at it. In his papers, Art as Technology, award-winning artist Bill Witherspoon recounts how drawing the Shriantra symbol in an Oregon crop field Indian researcher by the name of Dr. P.K.S. Muthukrishnan used fractal mathematics to claim that the Egyptian pyramids were engineered with the exact same angular measurements as the Shriantra. Researchers who study the visual origins of sounds and vibrations have discovered that the Om sound people make when meditating and practicing yoga is embedded in the geometric design of the Shriantra. Renowned American physicist Dr. Patrick Flanagan even calls the Shriantra the king of power diagrams and describes it as an energetic effect as 70 times greater than that of the pyramid construction itself.
Wow, I mean, that's unbelievable. And you know, it's not only science, even in Hollywood, they've made movies about this symbol. That's crazy. A few years back, there was this movie Amish and I watched. It was called The Last Mimsy. We couldn't believe it. In the movie, these kids gained these superhuman and supernatural powers from this thing.
Shriantra.
Yeah, from the Shriantra. And it, you know, and the quote unquote Shriantra in the movie, it came from outer space. And they said, you know, and there was this Shriantra. Just think about that.
That's a Hollywood movie, of course,
but I mean,
it's cool that it's like all over, right? And that there is a very intrinsic, inherent knowledge of this symbol that no one really represents the balanced union in spirituality and science, a place where you will uncover your highest potential as a professional, a lover, a problem solver, a visionary, a creator, and a healthy human being. The truth is, we don't know exactly yet how the Shriantra works. We know that it gets you into alpha brainwave state and it creates new neural pathways. It's almost like a microcosm of the universe. So why not harness it to our advantage? It's like the sun, right? For thousands of years, mankind didn't know that what the sun was or how it worked, but that didn't stop us from taking advantage of its heat and energy. Since meditative and manifestation rituals, they'll start by meticulously drawing each of the 9 layers or levels of the Shriantra onto their sand or on paper. Then as they draw each level, they're focused with their full intention on their desired outcome and how these levels contribute to that outcome.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, it's, you know, the source of the Shriantra's power to change your life and bend reality really lies within these levels. I'll say, you know, I mean, it's why your meditation challenge that you all just did and the Project Yourself course itself has 9 levels. It's because each level is focused on one level of the Shriantra. So that's really cool, which you'll see in the meditation from today too.
So yeah, let's get into that group meditation, Pooja. Why don't you take us on this group meditation?
Sure.
Again, the biggest thing that everybody wants to experience from this guided meditation is to liberate yourself from limiting beliefs and fears, along with other things that we're going to be talking about. First, I want to quickly show you that each level of the Shriantra and understand it. Level 1 is connect. The first level of the Shriantra is about using your mind to understand your innermost self and learning how to be truly present. The second level is fulfill. This second level helps you discover your true fulfillment and gets down to the nitty-gritty of what you really desire and what will make you happy at your core. Level 3 is activate. The third level is about focusing on what you need to do to get what you desire. So we're going to be covering some of those as well. Level 4 is access. This one's all about getting to the bottom of who and what you need to get what you desire. Level 5 is implement. Again, this is covered, if you remember from the Inner Riches experience, we covered some of this. Just want to recap it here on this online class here. The 5th level is about diving deep into discovering who you need to implement your wishes. Although there's a lot of power to be accessed within yourself, as we've all heard before, no man or woman is an island. Level 6, protect. The 6th level is about protecting yourself as you're going after what you want. So here you're going to be getting into a counterintuitive insight into how knowing your weaknesses and being fearless and persistent will keep you from being knocked down back again and dig deeper into creating what you desire. Level 7 is cleanse. This one's about overcoming your existing blocks and cleansing both mentally and physically. On a mental plane, you can a little known effect of of power, sacred geometry. But on a physical level, you can literally program your food to obtain change in your body at a cellular level. And level 8, accomplish. Level 8 is about simply knowing what you need to accomplish to be happy. Although simple at its core, getting there is beyond just your 5 senses, but tapping into that 6th sense that we all have. Level 9 is creating. Level 9 is creation time. Here you get to the crux of what makes you happy. It's the diving into some of the really intense stuff, like the deeper quantum mechanics and how the universe works and the unknown depths of gateway to creation. And so that's it. 9 levels, 9 unique steps to tapping into your deepest creation powers and creating remarkable results in any area of your life. So now that you've gotten yourself acquainted with it, let's move on to the meditation itself.
All right.
And Pooja is going to be taking us on a guided meditation here. And I believe you can do this experience open-eyed or closed-eyed,
Yeah,
but she's going to be taking it over from here. So Pooja, you want to take us here?
So, all right. So before we begin, I'd like us all to relax and get into a comfortable seated position. We're going to be beginning this guided meditation. So place your hands on your knees once you're comfortably seated, with palms facing up to receive, or you may keep them resting in your lap. Just be sure to do whatever is most comfortable for you. You want to also be sure the room, again, is free of any distraction as you bring your awareness to your spine and keep it long and straight. As you take a deep breath in and out, bring your visual focus to the Shriantra. As you breathe here, in this moment, begin to observe your now. Breathe into the quietness that surrounds you, in and out. Breathe into the space that holds this present moment for you. Notice perhaps the silent hums, the sound of airspace, even the sound of your own breath as you breathe in and breathe out. At the next deep breath in, you have the option to keep the Shriantra in your mind's eye as you gently close your eyes on the exhalation. Or you may leave your eyes open and focus on the Shriantra that will change with each level. Some of us have a more profound inner journey with our eyes closed, and some of us need a visual, so please do what's best for you in this very moment. Whatever you choose, continue to breathe in and out, allowing the breath to enter your nostrils, touch your throat and diaphragm as it moves into your stomach. And then as you exhale, find that your exhalation is just as deep and long through your nostrils as stagnant air moves out of your body and belly meets spine. Let the breath be natural at your own pace in and out. This breath is your life force. It's your energy. As it fills and nourishes your cells, feel the abundant energy of the universe flowing through the body with no resistance, no weight. Just vibrant light. On your exhale, let out what no longer serves you in this moment. This could be a thought, or a worry, or a fear, or a limiting belief. Whatever it is, you are letting it out with breath, breath by breath. You may feel different along your spine as you stimulate the nerves here as you breathe. Simply take notice of what you feel and continue your breath. Find your own rhythm as you bring your focus to the Shriantra and the first level. Now breathe into your tailbone as you breathe out any tension that you feel here. This level represents grounding and security in your life. It is connected to success. As you breathe here, you are fully connected to your core with more vitality and courage and self-confidence to eliminate limiting beliefs and fears. Breathe in and breathe out. Feeling this heightened awareness of your inner self or soul, begin to visualize what will make you truly happy. Do you know what you truly want in life? As you reflect, take a deep breath in through your nose. And this time, on the exhalation, release the air through your mouth. You may start to feel your body temperature rise as the subtle energy rises within your body. This is giving your focus and the strength that you need to harness your truest desire in life. Continue the rhythm of your breath, inhaling and exhaling slowly through your nostrils, in and out. Now focus this breath in the middle of your pelvis. The petals of the yantra represent the different forms of energies and powers through which your soul, your inner self, is connected. This is the area of the yantra representing what you actually understand and interact with and explore the outside world with. Breathe into the second level. What do you want to create? Breathe here, in and out. This level represents sexual and creative energy. Breathe in. Let the power of this level flow creative energy and prosperity deep within you. At the next in-breath, bring your focus to how you actually feel on a daily basis with those who surround you, your friends, your family, your community, and continue to explore these thoughts as you find yourself breathing in the love and gratitude that sparks the creation, that ignites within you. At each breath in and at each breath out, let out the toxins, the distrust, the fear, the limiting beliefs. Continue to allow your breath to be your activating tool as you breathe in and out. This breath, this life force energy, continues to move up your spine to your solar plexus, behind your belly, as you release with each breath in and out. This area is associated with the third level. The 8th lotus petal of the Shriantra contains powerful powers that are buried deep, lying dormant within you. As you breathe into this area, you may start to feel a quivering sensation in your abdomen. Visualize this area. Visualize the energy. And as you notice the sensation, return to your breath as your guide by breathing in and out. As you breathe, take control of this power within you. What do you need to do to make what you want happen? Now, as you breathe and begin to feel the energy moving, the deep sensation moves up towards your heart center. Breathe in an expansive, opening breath. As you breathe out any stress that resides here. We are at the 14 triangles at the 4th level, where we connect to your heart, where unconditional love resides. As you breathe, imagine the breath as green lights surrounding your body as your own vital foundation. And breathe that in. Here, you're harnessing that very energy contained within your body to bring everything that you truly need to you. Who or what help do you need to do what you want? And what do you need access to? At this next breath, allow whatever emotions arise here to be present within you. You do not need to know why you feel what you're feeling in this moment. Just know that you are loved and accepted. Breathe here, in and out. As you acknowledge these feelings, come back to the sound of these words as you focus your intention in this very moment. You may begin to feel the energy moving faster in a circle, moving up the base of your neck and into your throat. This is the 5th level, the 10 triangles. Breathe here in and out. Now start to imagine your breath falling from your nostrils to your throat as a bright blue light. Let this light fill this area, cooling your throat down with breath. As the cooling starts to happen, blue energy flows through your throat. This energy helps you speak your truth and balances the flow of communication and wisdom all around you. What do you need to attract to actually implement what you want? As you breathe here, envision all that you need as you feel the power converting you into a virtual magnet of truth. Breathe in and breathe out. Now at the 6th level, the Shriantra's 10 inner triangles. You may notice a flow of energy within you that leaves a sweet taste on the roof of your mouth. This is the sweet nectar of consciousness. At the next inhalation, when you exhale, take the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, gently and softly scraping the palate. Feel the energy soften by giving you a resurgence of power as you heighten your awareness here. As these energies course through you, through your body, with your breath, your life force, you feel a sense of protection arise. What protections do you need so you don't get knocked back down? Continue breathing in and out. Continue to breathe into the sweetness as you access the protections that you need to create what you desire. And at level 7 of the Shriantra, let the breath be steady as you feel a deep indigo light expand into the space between your eyes. And breathe into your intuition. And then breathe out any negativity, any negative buildup, the fears that stem from those limiting beliefs. What is affecting your life negatively? What is holding you back? As you breathe in and out here, notice the power of the 8 triangles eradicating the negative and removing everything that has blocked you from what you desire. Breathe in and breathe out. You may start to feel a tingling at your forehead here. Simply be aware of the sensation as your breath centers you and brings your energy to its upward motion towards the center of the crown of your head. This area is associated with the 8th level of the Shriantra, the primary inverted triangle. Breathe in and out. As you focus at this level and connect to your complete self, exhale and detach from all illusions of your current reality that do not allow you to be fully happy. Now inhale and ask yourself, what would you need to accomplish to be truly happy? What current reality or fear do you need to detach from in order to accomplish what you want? Breathing in and out. Let the flow of energy from head to toe and from toe to head coincide with your breath. It is here that you are given anything you wish to accomplish. Feel your new reality take root, where you are free from your fears, and you have everything you want and need. Mind, body, spirit. As you breathe here and the vibration settles throughout your body, let your breath be your guide. Bring your focus to the center of the Shriantra, the central bindu. This is the 9th level. As you let this focus penetrate your thoughts, and as clarity sweeps over your mind, as you breathe in, allow truth to settle in. And ask yourself, are you completely clear, joyous, and blissful about what will make you happy? You may let out a little smile as you know what will make you truly happy. You are at your best self. Continue to breathe here as you feel this bliss within you. As you feel your ties to the universe, to the beauty that surrounds you in this very moment, internally and externally. With a full release of your fears. Take a full, deep bodied breath in. And as you exhale, you may gently open your eyes if you had closed them to your Shriantra. And take your time in returning back. Namaste.
Wow. I went pretty deep myself on that one. Amazing. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And I know that we had some experiences. Oh, hey. Oh, well, we're on.
Where's the camera? I'm a little after that meditation.
Probably got something out of that. I'm sure some thoughts came up. Some things came up for you. Maybe nothing came up for you. Maybe you fell asleep. It doesn't really matter. Whatever your experience is or was, or whatever you're feeling now. But the key is to remember how you feel right now or how you felt throughout. Maybe take a couple of moments to just reflect on that internally and maybe write it down on a piece of paper if you have something near you. And just hold on to that. And that feeling is really important, you know, and it's through these guided meditations. I remember when I first started out, I'd kind of like fall asleep or I'd like drift off and I'd be like, whoa, where did I go? And that was actually the deep sleep that your body actually needs to repair itself. And so, you know, it's that experience that we feel, and we feel like, whoa, like we like left our body almost, that we're releasing these years and layers of stress and fatigue and shame and guilt and all those fears of what other people think about us and limiting beliefs that I can't achieve something because of X, Y, Z. Those are those things that we store inside of our bodies. And through these guided meditations, you're able to release that stress, release those fears.
Yeah, and you know, the thing with meditation is it's not something you do once and then all your fears are gone and you're fine for the rest of your life. We have different limiting beliefs that come up every day and every month and every year for even some of the
same for me.
Yeah, for even some of the most experienced meditators.
But it's how you perceive that.
Exactly.
You know, we talked about that.
It's about how you tackle that, or how you change that. And, you know, and things like project yourself and tools that, like he's saying, guided meditation and tools that we use.
And we know that science is helping these tools adjust that, you know, with the guided meditations, like we talked about before, epigenetics. You know, there could be two people doing the same exact thing. Let's just say they're taking a test. One person can be going through the test, just going and being like, oh yeah, like rocking it, having a good time. Another person's probably like, oh my God, I can't freak this out. Same test.
Yes.
Two different perceptions of how the test is to that person. And so it's how you perceive the things that quite literally alters your DNA.
And the results.
And the result of whatever that outcome is. That changing of the DNA, that stress factor is what is we're saying almost the root cause of almost every single disease.
I mean, meditation is supposed to help with things like fertility. It's supposed to help with things like, you know, heart disease. These are the things that you can, we're not saying that you can change your whole entire body's chemistry, but you can help it, you know, in a profound, impactful way.
And, you know, that's really what this is all about. So, you know, as we continue here, I think we're going to jump in and probably take some Q&A here.
Yeah.
If you're interested in joining the full Project Yourself experience, again, there's more of what you just learned, and there's more of the experiences and the education that we've talked about so far. ProjectYourselfNow.com is where you can get that. And we have some questions here. Are those all the questions? 3? Just the beginning? Okay. And you can also send them to me on Skype. And Joe, if you want to turn on the camera for these.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then we'll go back to the slides later. There's obviously more things, everybody that's on the call. There's bonuses, and there's testimonial videos, and there's, you know, we have thousands of pages of testimonials of people giving us feedback from the free experience, from the paid experience, from everything that we do. And you can find that on the page of projectyourselfnow.com. There's bonuses that I can talk about, but I want to answer some questions first because I know that's important to everybody. And we're a little over our schedule here, but we want to share this information. There's obviously much more.
Yeah.
Will Project Yourself help me? I'm sorry if I'm looking over here. There's a screen over here.
Yeah.
Will Project Yourself help me if I'm a seasoned spiritual explorer, or is it more for beginners? Actually, that's a great question. It's actually for both.
Yes.
And you'll see that some of our students that have taken the Project Yourself course, and some of our you know, people who have invested in themselves in their education, you know, the way I see it is like, you know, we pay for medical school, or we pay for master's degree, and they don't always pay out the way that how much we put in. So, you know, the way I look at Project Yourself is minimal, but the amount of education can be for someone who's a beginner or someone who's experienced. And we've seen both, that everyone says that it's not just about the material, beginning or advanced. It's about the collection of the material, how it's laid out, and how it all connects, and the different pieces of, everyone's like, I kind of knew about that piece, and I kind of knew about that piece, but how it was all connected was what was profound.
Yeah, and I mean, the beauty of Project Yourself, it's a deepening. It doesn't matter where you are. You can be here, or you can be here in your spiritual journey.
It's not just spiritual journey; it's personal journey.
And you're for everything, you know, for your life.
It's relationships, it's health. We talk about food, water. We talk about love. We talk about your heart. We talk about your brain. So there's science in there. You know, it's not just for the spiritual person.
No, it's for anybody.
A personal growth tool, and it has that like essence in there. It's like so strong that it taps you into yourself.
Yes.
And so
it's for anyone.
Mm-hmm. Will we get more guided meditations like this in the course? Absolutely.
Yes.
I believe in the course there's around 20 of them or so. So there's I mean, it's loaded. There's tons of them.
There's about like 80 exercises or something insane. So yeah.
Yeah. And if there's any more questions here, if you want to.
There's a lot of positive stuff, like feedback from that meditation.
Oh,
That's
cool.
what I'm trying to get Brad. Like,
nice.
I don't see any of it.
Okay. Brad,
Should we?
Is it on Skype? Do you want me to turn on Skype?
Yeah, it's on the chat room. Actually, it's
On the chat room?
No, we're not on the page.
Yeah.
All right, great. Good.
There's some good stuff.
So we've got some stuff here.
Teresa was
I actually had an out-of-body experience. It was very powerful.
Oh,
Thank you for the beautiful meditation. I almost fell asleep, but at the point I was thinking on forgiving my husband. Wow.
Yes, floating, feeling sparkling energy coming through my crown chakra throughout. Definite emotional release.
I loved it. June 4th, there is another class. Yes, there is another class, June 4th. Would you suggest meditating on the actual picture or digital image of the Shriantra? I tend to stay away from computers when I'm meditating. I don't like to look at things. The only thing I'll use it sometimes for is obviously like the binaural beats or a guided meditation. So you need like an iPod or an MP3 player or your computer or whatever. But when you're looking at something, just the screen, looking at a screen for that amount of time is it's hard on your eyes.
Yeah. So I mean, for today, we obviously are in a
computer virtual
class,
setting.
So, but in general, we would recommend it.
My forehead is still tickling, he says. I was running late, but I got in time for the meditation. This has been a very busy day, and after a week filled with low-level anxiety about medical issues, I left the meditation centered, light, and peaceful. Joy smiling from my soul.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. I missed which part of the body we were to focus on during the stage 9 of the meditation. Can you please remind us?
Oh, the central. We did the central bindu of the.
It's the dot in the center of the Shriantra. I don't know if you're talking about in your body. Level 9 would kind of be like above. It's kind of like bringing in that universal consciousness into your body and really tapping into that knowledge, tapping into that wisdom that's coming from above, I guess you could say, from that universal intelligence. Yeah. Question here is, I have trouble visualizing and really feeling the energy centers on a deep level. There, you can take this.
Oh, okay, we got it.
And if you want to read any to me, you can just let me know or Skype them to me. This is probably easier to do it on Skype.
This is great, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Skype right now.
Yeah, there's a bunch of questions in there.
So let me just adjust my window here. And feel free to ask any questions. We really, there's nothing in there there's no such thing as bad questions.
Yes.
I'm interested in knowing to know the differences between binaural beats and quiet, just self meditation.
Interesting, yeah.
So binaural beats gets you into an alpha brainwave state. An alpha brainwave state is where they'll play a tune on your left side of the headphone and the right side of your headphone or the speaker. And those two tunes make a singular tune when you listen to it. So it quite literally centers your brain. So what it does is it gets you into the alpha brainwave state, and that alpha brainwave state is the deepest state of relaxation, which allows that stress to be released that we talked about. So deep alpha releases that stress within our body. So that's what binaural beats does. It syncs your brain. So there are some with binaural beats. This one we couldn't do it because it was a live meditation.
Yes.
But some of them inside of our course have binaural beats inside of them. The 9-day Inner Riches meditation experience that a lot of you have gone through or going through now have holosync in them as well, which is done by Centerpoint Research Institute of Brain Research specifically. And it's really powerful. Yeah. And it gets you into that mindset.
And here's another question.
Okay. I have trouble visualizing and really feeling the energy centers on a deep level. Is this something that gets better over time? Yeah. Totally. Visualization, it's like one of those things, it's like imagination, right? We're taught to use our imagination when we're younger, but when we're older, we tend to forget about imagination.
And it's about opening that
so area. That visualization thing is like gone. We forget how to visualize. So as we get older, we tend to forget. So it does. It's like a muscle. And the more you work it out, the more you'll be able to visualize, the more you can journal, the more you listen to these guided meditations, the more you'll actually start visualizing what you need to create. And through that process, you turn that on, and you actually share that. And it becomes internalized. And once you can internalize something, you become aware of it, then you can externalize it and turn it into something real.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Explain.
Can you explain in the other video for the Prosperity DNA Activation Kit that some sounds are dangerous or damaging to listen to? Can you explain what those sounds are? So Teresa, yeah, the Prosperity DNA Activation video that we had kind of running throughout the 9-day meditation experience, we talked about how certain sounds are actually damaging to your body, to your cells, to your DNA, and how certain sounds are actually good for your cells and your DNA. And we talked about vibration, and we talked about some of that as well. So if you look at Dr. Emoto's studies, he does a lot of studies on water. And when you say certain things like "I hate you" to a water bottle, and you look at the molecular structure of that water, it actually looks discombobulated. It looks like it's mutilated. If you say things like "I love you" and "I'm grateful," and words that actually represent positivity, the water is more structured. So
the vibration.
it's the vibration of that thing that you're saying. Whatever you're saying, whatever your intent is with what you're saying, that's what carries a vibration that programs your food or your water. I have a huge amount of resistance inside of me. This is from Dasha Morrison. I believe and try, but I don't progress anywhere. I have depression and anxiety, and I wish to know how to get rid of this. So depression and anxiety is deep. I think I've suffered for it for a long time. I've had anxiety for a while as well, and it's it's resistance. That's really what it is at its core. And so to get rid of it is practice. Yeah. I always say whenever I would have a negative thought in my mind, I'd figure out how to make it positive, and just immediately. The moment I caught myself thinking negatively, change it to a positive. And the more I practiced that, the more I was in tune with, oh my God, why am I thinking that about this person? Or how did my mind get over there thinking about that? Like, why is my mind doing this negative stuff? And then I would figure out a way to turn that into a positive.
And it's through meditation and this, and just broadening your heart and broadening your mind, opening these channels and feeling that allow you to do that.
So the question that says, what do you guys think about ayahuasca? I know we mentioned it, and we talked about DMT and some of this other stuff. I personally, we've never done it, but we've heard amazing things of people getting healed through it, and that it releases a huge dose of what your pineal gland and your endocrine system already produces, cleansing and detoxing the body to some extent. So that's, I've heard profound experiences, connection to spirit, connection to source, really just understanding themselves on the most deepest level that they can understand themselves.
Yes, yeah. And
will the home training program be available for purchase later this year, or will the cost increase? It will be available later, but the cost will probably increase. We do have plans on raising it. This is, we've been working on this for 3 to 4 years now, and the amount of content that's in there, I mean, just from the testimonials and the people talking about it, I mean, it's amazing. Will the price go up? I don't know, to be honest with you. But right now we haven't really even gotten that far. Right now, it's what we have is what we have. So it's about now being present. And if you're interested, go ahead, check it out. It's projectyourselfnow.com. There's a guarantee. So I mean, even if you're not interested, get it. I mean, check it out and see if it's for you. And the material in there is just education. You can educate yourself more on these topics. And what we'll do is we're gonna introduce some bonuses that we're gonna be talking about. So let's go back to the slides here real quick, and then we'll answer some more of these questions. I know there's tons of questions coming in, so let's go to the slides here. Let's see if I could turn that on, and we'll just start from where it kind of reconnects us with practices and wisdom. Okay, so let's go down. Let me scroll a little bit here. We scrolled through some of these bonuses, and okay, here we go. Here's some the bonuses. Here we go. Okay, so the bonuses we want to include for people who are taking action today, specifically today, that are going to buy today, are going to get 2 months of subscription to Conscious Calendars. And it's such an amazing project that we've worked on. It's a powerful technology that we have developed with the help of the acclaimed Vedic astrologer, Kathleen Whalen, and she's also a biochemist. So she studied astrology and the effects of planets and what it has to do with humans, how it affects us as humans. It has nothing to do with the astrology like you see on the tabloids or you see in the Sunday newspaper, none of that. It's actually a timing system. And this timing system is an extremely powerful way to make your decisions better and avoid unnecessary risks. It's nothing complex like Leo's in this house and Capricorn and all that stuff. It's very easy. It's color-coded. it immediately tells you the flavor of the day. Like green day means go, yellow days mean proceed with caution, and red days mean lay low. And it plugs right into your calendar. It's really very simple. We're going to love how Conscious Calendars helps you plan important decisions, get the most out of events like launches or buying cars or buying houses or weddings or holidays, and allow for more of those lucky coincidences into your life. So you'll get...
We use it too.
Yeah, we use this. I mean, I use it for today. Guess what? It happens to be a green day.
Oh,
when we
really?
started our launch, guess what? It happened to be a green day, and we got 100,000 opt-ins. All of the last 3 years have been based around these calendars, and my life has dramatically changed. I can actually understand other people's influences of the planets on other people if it's on a red day and be like, oh, okay, lay low. I don't have to take this emotionally. Let me sit on this for a couple of days. And those little things drastically change the outcomes.
Like an email you get or whatever,
It's almost a roadmap for decisions in life. Timing. It's a timing calculator. It's really, really powerful technology. The bonus number 2 is you're going to get a digital copy of my documentary film. It's called Dwarka, Atlantis of the East. It's a film about an ancient secret buried beneath one of the world's oldest cities underneath the Arabian Sea. And it's the first ever film that I started making. And more recently, I started a film on Ayurveda, which is an ancient healing science. But this was the first film that I completely, that really got me deep into this knowledge and spreading this knowledge, because it opens our eyes to stunning ancient technology and wisdom from our ancestors. And it's a showing of how a guy like me with zero filmmaking experience somehow had coincidences fall into my lap, and I created a documentary from scratch. And it was just, I didn't intend on making this documentary, and it somehow happened, and it was because of the Project Yourself course. So these are some of the things that have come out of this that we're going to be giving away as bonuses. We're going to be giving away 2 live and intimate group coaching calls, and it's going to be, getting you to the most rewarding path. Pooja and I love doing group coaching calls, and so it's the single best way to find out what you're going through, what you're experiencing with the course, and what's keeping you stuck, so that we can game plan with you and everyone that wants to be a part of these sessions. These 2 sessions alone can dramatically elevate the results you get. So please, now is the time. It's only available through this early bird bonus pack. So projectyourselfnow.com. Next thing we have here is the 4 consciousness elevation video training sessions. Back in 2012, I invited a small group of Project Yourself graduates on a journey into the deeper end of personal growth and spirituality. It spanned 4 months of intimate training sessions. These remarkable sessions and breakthroughs we experienced together as a group have now been made public, and they're all yours. So I'm giving you the 4 recordings of Project Growth, is what we called it. The 4 powerful lessons that included are how to use lucid dreaming to design your dreams and uncover truths in your waking reality, how to harness the karmic force known as prana, or we also know it as chi in ancient Eastern Chinese medicine, and how to strengthen your heart chakra. What is the heart really about, and how many nadis, which is like these energy centers around our body, like flow within, and the science of soul. We actually get into the science of your soul and how your body is made up of these 3 different bodies and 5 different sheaths, as we call them. And that we know these. We can measure it with different types of photography, but we don't know why we have these layers of quote unquote invisible auras around us. So we get into reading auras and what aura reading is and what our 3 bodies and 5 sheaths are. If you're watching this online class live, you're going to qualify for 2 surprise early bird bonuses that get you even more reality bending content and even the personal coaching. But of course, obviously, it's for this session. So please take this time out now and order now. You get the personal coaching sessions, you get the reality bending content, you get all the bonuses that I just mentioned, plus what's on the page. So be sure to just go to projectyourselfnow.com and start reading. because we have tons of bonuses. And there's also the testimonials of people on the page. There's, we've had tons. I'm saying, when I say thousands of testimonials, it isn't a joke. I'm not making up thousands to impress people. I'm saying thousands because it's the truth, and because it has dramatically changed people's lives. People have gotten new business. People have lost weight. People have increased better relationships in their life. People are like, I don't know how to even explain it. Some of the things that they're manifesting, from like TVs to cars to even non-material things, getting rid of things like guilt and prejudice. And I mean, it's
like soulmates and so much. It's
amazing. Again, look, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So there's zero risk. You can feel the benefit for yourself. Our refund rate is extremely low, and that's for a reason, because we value our content. Our content, we know that people experience this, the coaching that's involved, the support that you get, the community of people that you're surrounded with, the thousands and thousands of people. Pooja and I are constantly in the community helping people.
You might have seen us even in this free 9-day, challenge, That's
we were in there commenting. We made sure that we tried, and I tried my hardest to go through every single one of these 5,000 comments over the last 11 days, to personally try and comment on every single one, to personally just read every single one, to like each one. And I even had my staff going in there and the team going in there, and everyone was going in there to create a better experience. That's what we're about. As long as we can keep creating better experiences, that's what it's about. Yeah. And so it's because this is what we want to do for the rest of our lives. This is what we have tapped into. Deep Origins, the company, which is even bigger than Project Yourself's mission, is ancient wisdom, modern science, global transformation. That's really what we're about. So again, I want you to go through one more short visualization exercise, perhaps 3 months from now. I want you to just kind of take a second here to visualize that for a second. Where are you going to be 3 months from now? And picture your ideal life. Now picture it with what you've learned already and what you have, the tools and the assets that you have in your life right now. And then picture it with something like Project Yourself in your life. And you practice that for the next 9 weeks. And you practice that for the next 3 months. And I want you to just think, what would be the difference? What could possibly change if you decided, when you decide to join Project Yourself, and what that difference might look like. Think about how using some of these tools and some of these guided meditations, all these experiences that everyone is having, and they're putting it into the chats, and they're putting it into, the Facebook chat, the Facebook comments here on this page. I haven't even had a chance to go through them or even look at them. As many as I could see, on the page. It's having more of those experiences. Imagine having those every day. Imagine having those every second. Imagine having those every hour. Imagine being so in tune that you're manifesting everything you want in real time. Imagine getting rid of all those limiting beliefs and those fears and not coming from that place. So, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being here.
Really, really, thank you.
Yes.
And we hope that today's session has been powerful. Again, we are still going to answer questions, but we just wanted to say thank you. And we wanted to help hold a space of positivity and empowerment. If you want to turn on the camera here for a second, we could probably talk. And that's projectyourselfnow.com for those of you that are interested and that want to join.
Yeah, please do so.
Please. So here we are.
Hi.
And we hope you have a clearer perspective of your untapped potential, and that the conscious deep dive practices that we've taken you on over the last 2.5 hours here, and of course over the last 9 days, where we've created all that content and these exercises, and everything that we've given is just a way for us to provide value and to align ourselves with those unseen forces.
Yeah, and just honestly, it's about just elevating your life. This is about bringing yourself to a higher level that you've ever felt, experienced, and been at. Who doesn't want to feel that, especially with a guarantee?
Join us sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And most of all, we honor you, and we honor you for taking out this time. We honor you for everything that you're doing to make yourself better people. We honor you for the life you live. We honor you for everything that you're going through, just like all of us are. We're all humans at the end of the day. And if we have those tools to get us through those exercises, again, if you check out this one of the testimonials on the page by Jim Standish, good buddy, you know, and I've become friends with a lot of these people now, which is really cool. And he's like, you know, I was working on a deal the other day and I thought, project yourself. And I was like, you thought of project yourself while you're working on a deal? And he talked about how powerful some of these exercises are and some of these things are, and how you can take yourself and reframe situations for your benefit, even while you're in situations, that you can reframe them and change them for your outcome. And so it's really powerful. It's beyond just the guided meditations. It's beyond just these little exercises and some of the education that we've taught about lucid dreaming and food programming and heart intelligence and all that stuff. There's deeper knowledge and exercises that we take you through. It's an immense course. You know, we spent a ton of time putting it together, and we're just excited about it. So projectyourselfnow.com, and what we'll do is we'll go back to questions, and let me just roll those up.
Pull those questions up. Is it normal to?
Okay, is it normal to cry sometimes as you go through the meditation when you get the aha?
Yes, for sure. It's a release, and you want to welcome that release, and it's actually just goes to show how open you are. And I mean,
even me as a man, you know, we're not supposed to cry, right? We're men, we're not supposed to cry and all of that. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've meditated or I've done some of these exercises, some of these chants and some of these ancient practices, and I'm just like,
he'll come out of the room, and
I'll come out of the room and I'll cry and I'll just be like, I need a hug, and and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying, but it's like a release.
Yeah, it's a release.
It's something that's been stored inside of me. Sometimes I don't even know how deep it is. It's from my childhood.
Yeah.
I'll tell her, like, when I was like in 6th grade, I did 7th grade, and I've been holding it, and it was like, and it just, I realized how it's been affecting me my whole entire life. And I'm making decisions based upon something I did in the 7th or 8th grade, and that release just happened, and that no longer is a part of my life anymore.
Yeah, and thank you, Lori, for sharing that, because it's a vulnerable thing to share. So thanks for offering us that.
Honeybee Nicole, where's the link to purchase? Projectyourselfnow.com. Okay, there you go.
And let's see. Another question.
Another question is by Richard E. Dr. Puja, and Amish. Will you go into greater scientific depth about using mantras to achieve prosperity, healing, and power? Yes, I will.
Oh, yes, for sure.
So, okay, this can get a little deep.
Yes, this can definitely get. This is a good question.
Prosperity, healing, and power. Mantras are power words. Mantras mean power words. Man means mind. And mantras, again, as a whole, means power words. So it's to reprogram your mind with these power words. So we all know affirmations, and we say, I am happy, I am whole, I am this, I am positive, I am exuberant, you know, I am this, right? And at the end of the day, you just want to be, I am, right? And so mantras are power words that you use. And we talk about vibrations in the universe, how everything is a vibration. When I'm speaking right now, you're listening, you're understanding it, but how is that happening? It's done through vibrations. Everything is done through vibrations. How are we held together? How is my skin holding my organs and my blood inside of my body? It's done through vibrations. So a certain vibration is holding on to us. So when we speak certain words, these vibrations go like this, right? They're just wave files that kind of go like this. Yeah. And then they go like this, and then they enter our brain, or they're within our body. So when we use these power mantras, it changes the vibration that we are actually resonating at. And it changes on a cellular DNA structure. You're telling your DNA, you're programming your DNA for more abundance. You're programming your DNA for more prosperity, for healing. So when you get into these deep states of meditation, or you're doing chanting, or you're doing mantras, any of these exercises are all meant to do the same thing, for deep healing, for deep cleansing, for deep tapping into that deep power within yourselves, and also tapping into that prosperity, that wealth. Yes. Everyone always talks about wealth and money. How do I get more money? it's done through this. It is done through the.
It's also you're also tapping into a greater field. You're emitting this vibration as well when you are chanting, when you are sending this out. And you've all heard of the law of attraction. You're attracting this to you as well. So it's almost like it's working in this full sync. It's really beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking that.
Amazing. Yeah. Is it experience independent of gender? Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. You can be male, you can be female. It doesn't matter. I mean, transgender.
Oh, really?
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
This experience is truly unique to each person's individual being.
Yep.
And so that's what it's about. Okay, so once we purchase the class, is the community available indefinitely or only during a specified period? Once you purchase, the class is forever. Yeah, it's yours. The community is around forever. There's people already creating their own niche groups inside the community. They've already started forming their own masterminds within the community. People get on calls together that we don't even know about. I mean, cool. You get to join the Facebook group. We have a special Facebook group that everyone talks about and shares their experiences. So yeah, you get that forever. There's no additional costs.
Yeah, so that answers the second part. Am I correct in thinking the program is ours
forever?
Yeah,
once you purchase it, it's yours forever.
So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Is it possible to buy the bonuses like your documentary? Yeah, you can buy the documentary separately if you want, but it comes for free as a part of Project Yourself.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to get them together.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I have a good question.
Oh.
I have some questions for I'm looking at Joe over here because he's gonna type it into the chat, or somebody, Brad over there, or
yeah. Is there?
Let's prompt them to let's put a prompt in there that says, what's their biggest stumbling block with meditation, or what's their biggest stumbling block with their fear, or how do they get past that? Let's get some more questions and let's get some more feedback.
We really, Amish and I really love community, as you can see from this experience. So
we do see some, thank you for people who are joining. We see the feedback coming in.
Yeah,
people are joining, and thank you for joining. And one of the bigger things I really want to talk about is CEF also, before we get into that.
If we can talk about that.
We didn't talk about that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Joe can show the website while we're talking.
Yeah.
And CEF is our nonprofit. And we have a 501c3.
Yeah.
And it all started with her, actually.
Yeah.
And years and years ago, she's always been very, very, very philanthropic, and it's always been in my family as well, where we used to go to soup kitchens growing up when we were younger.
Yeah,
we decided to incorporate that into our lives, and spreading that also to our children and our daughter, and really teaching her about the values of life and giving back and what that's about. And so CEF is the Shah Education and Exploration Foundation, and we have an Education and Exploration Foundation nonprofit organization that Project Yourself are going to go to this organization. And what we do is we create educational grants, and we create those educational grants for students to learn more about these topics and explore more of this and do clinical trials and do scientific studies behind this information to prove that it works and to give children the chance to do this. And Pooja can doing over the last 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
And where we're going with it.
Yeah, I many years, many moons ago, including Amish, everyone thought I was crazy. I was running off to Africa and working with kids there, with organizations, and it really got me tapped into the ability to I guess open my heart and open my life to helping children overseas. And so, Amish was so generous too. Every time he'd have a launch or anything, he'd let me know I'm going to donate for your cause,
a certain amount of money for this cause. And
and he'd do that. I did some, as many of you know, I'm a dentist, so I did a lot of dental work and opened up a clinic in Uganda, which is self-sustainable now. And that was unbelievable. It's still running, and we've got,
amazing.
Yeah, we've got these kids who are getting rid of dental disease, which really it's horrible. I mean, you know, some of these kids were not going to school. They couldn't eat. They were malnourished, all because they had infections that were spreading to different areas that, like, their lymph, and, you know, and it was just, I mean, it was mind blowing. I spent a lot of, before I had my daughter, of course, I spent a lot of time out there, you know, months there on different occasions. So that was unbelievable.
That's a really bigger mission of what we're doing here. You know, it's like Project Yourself is a means of, you know, people say money and things like that, wealth and all that, and that's going to help us fuel Deep Origins, which helps us fuel this nonprofit to give back and to create more knowledge, to create more of these educational grants, to create more of this research, to create more of this awareness.
Yes, and so and you know, in the organization that I was with, Just Like My Child, they have some girl empowerment programs and things, which are so wonderful. It really it opened my eyes onto how much we could help the children who are our future, who are essentially what are going to be creating our world, and how we can do that with them as well. So Amish and I, you know, we're even involved in some larger projects through, you know, some competitions and things we're entering, all nonprofit, just to fuel this global mission on elevating not only consciousness, but making it a better place for people who don't have access to the things that all of us, that we're sitting here in front of a computer. Some have never even been able to see a computer because they're worried about, you know, just how to survive where they are. So we want to make a global impact, and yeah, so that's what fuels us, you know. So that's part of it.
It'd be really cool, you know, whatever you do to support us. ProjectYourselfNow.com helps us fuel that bigger mission and to really, really get it out there. I have some feedback here. It says, thanks for the webinar on the brilliant Inner Riches meditation experience. Most productive and enlightening 9 days I've ever had, or I've had in a long time. Nice. Established a meditation practice and went through a lot of changes. Ridiculously impactful and good. And the content provided here is amazing as well. Okay. The other people are asking about the physical aspect of meditations and how that affects the body. So I've been able to heal myself personally through meditation. I feel like it's been such an amazing experience. And, you know, I was quite literally dying. I mean, it's pretty sad to say. I mean, I had a fatty liver and I had near adrenal failure, and I mean, my cholesterol was over 350. So if anyone knows cholesterol, I know it's not like a real thing, but over 350, being 29 years old, is not healthy. No. And I was 30 pounds heavier than I am right now, so you can imagine me like much more heavier set, kind of like alcohol, cigarettes, I mean, bad food, and I don't know where my life had taken me. I was lost. And you know, meditation is the thing that got me back into digging more and researching more of this information, to get me back into peak performance, to get me back into myself, to realize who I really was as a human being, and not all this other stuff that I had made up. And it was quite a journey. Yeah.
I mean, and it was, you know, some people say like losing weight will just help you be healthy. In his case, he really dug deep and released emotional things from his childhood, released all this stuff that was negatively affecting his life in every corner and aspect of it. So that's what I think is even deeper about meditation. It's not just this, you know, juicing every day. I mean, all of that's part of being a better person. But this is
it was deeper. And for her, I realized that she just became calmer, because she's always just very like OCD. Like I gotta get everything done, and everything has to be on time, and I gotta make lists for everything. And
yeah, I chilled out a bit.
It like the meditation helps you.
Yeah.
Calm down into that anxiety, that fear starts going away, that oh my God, what's going to happen starts subsiding. And
if you're in a relationship, I mean, not only a husband, wife, but even mother, daughter, father, son, you know, any relationship that you're in, I mean, we've noticed things about each other, and it helps your relationship grow stronger. It could be a business relationship. It could be a personal relationship. I mean, it will strengthen it to
and
its
it's
core.
your relationship to the relationship too.
Your relationship.
So if you think about it, right, we talked about epigenetics before. It's how you perceive that relationship. So that relationship is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's what you think. It's the relationship to the relationship. And most people don't understand that. That's the basis of all that.
And it's not until you get inside that you get to really access that.
We teach inside of Project Yourself something called pratyahara.
Right.
Pratyahara is understanding your 5 senses to go inward.
Yes.
And so that's why we've created this multi-sensory experience of Project Yourself. You touch things, you see things, you hear things, you smell things, you taste things. And through those experiences inside of Project Yourself with these exercises, you anchor certain deeper aspects of yourself into these deep exercises. And when you're able to do that, you reprogram.
Yeah.
You reprogram the way your brain is wired. You reprogram the way you look at things. You reprogram how you perceive that relationship in your life.
Totally.
Whether it's your relationship to food or your relationship to money, or your relationship to other people, your relationship to your friends, your relationship to your parents, siblings.
Yeah.
All of that stuff comes up inside of Project Yourself. It's deep inner work. And as you start doing that, and as you start experiencing these things, you'll realize that, oh my God, this is starting to come true. This is starting to come true.
It's almost like
this is happening in my life.
Yeah.
Sunny, who's on the call right now,
Oh,
who's helping out with some of the questions inside customer support, went through the program 3 times himself. He's a part of our team, and he says, my goal was to come and work with you. I went through every single level and I mapped it all out and I did exactly what you told me, and here I am working on your team, and I'm doing a bunch of different tasks, and he's working with the team. How many times I've heard that before is just truly, truly powerful. So sorry, I got off a little bit tangent there.
Got another question right here.
Yeah, so projectyourselfnow.com if you want more information. I'm so excited to bring this to you. It's truly, it's a pouring, it's an outpour of our heart. There's a bigger, better reason why we're doing this. It's not for the money. I've had businesses that have done 3, 4, 5 times as much money, and there's no satisfaction. This is for happiness. This is for liberation. This is for awakening. This is for consciousness. This is for the future of who we are and who our children are. This is a family experience for everybody. People ask, I've listened to some of the guided meditations with my children. Is that okay?
Oh my
do
gosh,
it.
Please. Yes, do it.
Absolutely do it. In fact, my Pooja teaches meditation to kids.
Yeah.
And if you do have kids, join and use some of these meditations. It's very, very impactful for people to experience not just the meditations, again, the multi-sensory, multi-tool, multi-exercise program that we've put together. So there's a question here that says, is there a payment plan for the program? Right now, there's no payment plan because we have a certain amount of seats that we are limited to. So we're gonna, there's no payment plan as of this moment. Will we introduce one later? It may be. And you can email customer support if you're really, really in a dire need of a payment plan. And we are always flexible. We don't deny anyone straight up. And oh man, but we're responsible and we care about everyone's well-being, and that's what it comes down to, really. And so, please email us and let us know. If I am already a Project Yourself member, do I still have to sign up for Project Yourself? The answer is you'll be getting an email shortly about that. If you're already a member, thank you for being a member first. And are you supposed to be looking at the Shriantra while meditating? It's that's another question. Sorry, by the way.
Well, for this guided meditation, you
could do either, and we give an option actually throughout the whole entire course. Some are closed-eyed, some are open-eyed. Some are some are like kind of just semi, so you can kind of just gaze down, like a low gaze. And each of those have a certain particular aspect. In fact, looking at your nose for longer periods of time, for extended periods of time, actually also gets you into alpha and theta brainwave states. Just by looking at the tip of your nose. So I'm giving you some of these cool little tips and tricks now, and I'm going to keep doing this throughout. It's in the course. It's inside of Project Yourself. So looking at the tip of your nose actually induces greater states of consciousness. And there's another one where you look at your third eye. So if you to look up and close your eyes and look at your third eye, that is what creates that transcendental state. If you look at some of the, if you look at our logo, for example, there's a dot on top, project yourself on the side, and then there's 2 dots. And we've taken that from the bindu. So they say that the Shriantra, when you're meditating on it and you look at the central bindu and it splits into 3, when you kind of like lose that focus a little bit and the bindu turns into 3, that is pure creation mode. That's when your brain is in that alpha mindset, and whatever you think and whatever you concentrate on at that time builds those neural pathways, builds those electrical currents in your brain to build the dendrites. It quite literally creates the reality that you're wanting to create just by looking at that symbol. So this is again going into some of the deeper science and some of the deeper knowledge within this. And you know, whether you look at it while you're meditating or not, it doesn't really matter, but have a practice of gazing at it.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Where do you recommend getting a Shriantra wall, hang, or poster? Amazon. The only problem with that is that you may not get an accurate version of it. Right. There's very scientific, mathematical things that go into the Shriantra, from the Fibonacci sequence to pi to phi to concentric circles to concave circles to convex circles to how many triangles. There's 54 triangles, and if you double that, that's 108, which is the distance between here and the twice the distance between here and the moon. And there's so many correlations that are built into this. It builds the measurements of the Great Pyramids. It actually has all 3 Great Pyramids built into it in the sequential order that they were built. And you know, whew,
well,
you want the right one, right? You want the correct one to make sure you're getting the right one. In fact, I had a call with someone 2-3 weeks ago from Iowa, over in Maharishi in TM land over there in Iowa. It's called Vedic City, and I was talking to a buddy of mine, Chris Bush. He's a part of the David Lynch Foundation, another one that's very just so pure really to my heart. David Lynch Foundation, that's going into these inner city schools and spreading meditation, and they're seeing fights are dropping. They're seeing grades are going up. They're seeing that people are more conscious with their parents. They're more in tune with their parents when they go home from school. I mean, this stuff that David Lynch and Jerry Seinfeld and all these people are putting out there, there's a reason why all these celebrities and people are spreading this message. So again, getting back to the question of the Shriantra, I was talking to him about the Shriantra, and I was telling him how to place it. So there's poster versions, and then there's like plate versions. Right. We're going to be selling the plate versions coming up here in the next couple of weeks here, and you'll be getting the email about that soon. And we'll also be selling poster versions of it as well. We have the most mathematically correct version. We have actually done it inside of CAD, of 3D vector diagram software, and we have the most correct version of it that has been created. So we are more than happy to talk about that in the future. For now, Amazon is good. Just be careful. Do your research onto the correctness of that actual Shriantra, because it's very mathematical. It's very scientific, and we want to make sure that we are doing the best benefit to ourselves as well. So when you're looking at it, where should you place it? North. Obviously, north, true north, magnetic north is where our bodies are naturally aligned to. So facing it on that wall is particularly important. North or east is always the best way.
Yeah, the best facing.
Okay.
Let's see.
Last night, Gore is saying, last night I meditated under the full moon light, and I used your 9-day meditations as a guide. After I reached the 8th, my palms were getting warmer and warmer and warmer. That's a great question.
That's awesome. So what is it?
So prana
energy,
is something we call energy. It's also in what we teach inside of Project Yourself. There's also in ancient Chinese medicine, they call it qi. And it's your vital energy. It's the energy that flows through all of your currents. Your body is just an electrical machine. So your brain shoots off these electrical currents that goes down your spine. There's an afferent current that goes up, and there's an efferent current that goes down. And so these currents that go between your spine send and shoot signals between your brain and your body. And that's how you function. And so when you're functioning like that, what's happening is those electrical currents are becoming more, they're happening faster. Your body is recognizing things faster. It's more in tune with itself. So that prana, or that chi, that energy is becoming enlivened in you. You're becoming awakened. you're touching that energy.
Totally. And with your palms up, like we did in so many of the meditations in the 9-day
You receive
challenge,
that energy.
you're quite literally receiving it. I mean, if you think if your palms are crossed or like this, they're closed to the energy versus completely open to the energy. So that is probably what you felt, and what an amazing experience you must have had. That's awesome.
Awesome. Okay. Can children 7 and under use headphones to do the meditation? I don't see why not, but also I'm also not a doctor and I'm not a physician.
Thursday we'll have
she
more.
is a dentist, and on Thursday we also have Bill Harris, who is going to be on the call, and he is the director of the Center Point Research Institute, to talk about the HoloSync, to talk about binaural beats and how it affects children. But if it's just for guided meditations, you can use headphones.
Totally.
When it comes to HoloSync, I know enough that I know that it helps you. I'm not an expert on whether you can, what's the age range for children. So we'll let him answer that on Thursday. The live cast.
So about Thursday anyway.
Let's talk about Thursday. We have amazing people on board. I am so excited about this. He's going to show the experts on the screen. I'm really excited to have you guys on as a part of this live experience. You know, the amount of energy that we have put into this is truly, truly amazing. The amount of the people that have come aboard to help us is just amazing. And the alignment that we're seeing with this product, the alignment that we're seeing with this message, it has never been bigger, and it has never been more profound. And so some of the doctors that we're going to have on board, we have a doctor of, she's a neurologist.
She's a board-certified neurologist.
Board-certified neurologist. Her name is Dr. Trupti Gokani. She's appeared on many, many TV shows before. She's been on many news channels before. She's a published author. She's a neurologist that practices neurology, but also practices meditation, mindfulness, and Ayurveda, which is an ancient healing science. So those of you that were interested in healing, which I know that when I looked at the survey results, trust me, when I say we look at everything, we look at everything. We look at the survey results. Myself, me, the owner of the company, Pooja, every single team member, we go through the survey results. We go through the comments. We like everything. We comment on them. And so she is going to be bringing in that healing aspect and the neurology and the brain research behind some of the stuff that we're talking about.
And we also have another brain researcher as well.
His name is John Assaraf. A lot of you are probably familiar with John Assaraf. He's a New York Times best-selling author. He's also an entrepreneur and the founder of a company called NeuroGym, which is focused on brain research and how to work out your brain. And that's why it's called NeuroGym. And he's going to be talking.
Of The Secret.
He was in The Secret. He talked about the law of attraction and how to get your brain to fire on the law of attraction, and how The Secret is not really the secret. We're really excited to bring you some of this content. It's really amazing content as well. So John Assaraf. Then we have Pedram Shojai. Pedram is a great, great, great friend of mine, documentary filmmaker as well. He's shot 2 documentaries. He's a doctor of Oriental medicine. He has spent countless years in school studying Oriental medicine, understanding vitality and the origins of vitality. In fact,
that chi that we talked about.
That energy, that life force that we have inside of us. Pedram is an expert in that, and he's been researching this for a long time, created 2 documentaries. He owns well.org. So it's a huge site all about wellness, and it's all about vitality, and really amazing. So we're going to have him talking about his experience in some of these subjects that we're talking about as well. We've got Nassim Haramein. So I know that we skipped over the quantum mechanics and we skipped over the quantum physics. I was vetoed by the team today, but it's okay. It's okay.
We'll save the juicy
We're going to save the juicy stuff for Thursday. The more in-depth, we have 8 hours on Thursday, so we're going to have lots of time to talk about this stuff. Nassim Haramein from the Resonance Academy and the Resonance Project is coming on board. He is a world-renowned physicist, and he has a theory of how free energy can be created, and how the universe works at its corest function is our answer to finding free energy. And I've had research with him. I went out to Kauai, and when I went to Kauai, I hung out with him, and we talked about the Shriantra, and he was talking about how Shriantra is one of the most powerful diagrams known to man. And this is a physicist telling me this, and I was just like, are you telling me this right now? and it's cool that a physicist, doctors, and scientists are all coming aboard to recognize this information.
Definitely. And we've got Nij.
We have Neeraj Nayak. Neeraj Nayak is an ex-pharmacist, so he's classically trained as a pharmacist. He got sick in his life, and he got severely sick, and he couldn't leave his house for a number of years, and he healed himself through deep meditative practices, and not through pharmaceuticals, because the pharmaceuticals what were actually making him worse. Yeah. And so he's going to be sharing his experience and his journey. He's also a musician, right? So he plays such amazing music, and he's going to be sharing some of his content and knowledge with us.
Healing music.
So he's going to be talking about how pharmacy is actually not the way. It's overly refined ancient wisdom.
Right.
Think about overly refined ancient wisdom. So he's going to be talking about his experience with us. We have David Wolf, who is absolutely amazing. He teaches about ancient superfoods, and he's going to be talking about this ancient knowledge as well. He is an encyclopedia. Yeah. When I say he's an encyclopedia, like you can ask him a subject, and he'll give you the ancient reference to it. Yeah. Like that guy is on point. He runs a longevity conference. He has a product called the NutriBullet. He's all over the place. You guys have probably heard about him. He's an author of probably a dozen or so books. Really excited to have him aboard and share some of the ancient wisdom and share the modern science that we're just now starting to prove that this stuff works, and these ancient superfoods and some of these ancient recipes he's going to be sharing. So I'm excited about that as well. Jason Martell.
Oh yeah.
Jason Martell's from the History Channel. He is an expert on just a lot of ancient civilizations in general, ancient civilizations, and the knowledge of the ancient civilizations, and how we have forgotten that knowledge, or how we may be misinterpreting some of that knowledge, which he's even more powerful at, is explaining how we misinterpret some of this ancient knowledge. And so we're going to be talking about the cycles of time, and how we talk about this golden age that once existed at some time, and how this golden age is actually like really, really powerful, and how the golden age is starting to come back.
Totally.
And what that means for us as a human society. And so we're looking at these long periods and cycles of time that go 24,000 years. The 24,000 years is the precession of the equinox. It's one full cycle, I guess you can say. And so we're going to be getting into more. I want to keep going more.
Awesome stuff. Yeah.
Then we have Kathleen Whalen. She is a biochemist that quit. She has a master's degree. She quit biochemistry to go study Vedic astrology because she was so fascinated by how the planets have a biochemistry effect on humans. So the chemistry, the biochemistry, the chemicals that run through our body get changed based upon certain astrological alignments of planets.
And she's also the founder of...
Conscious Calendars, the bonus that we're giving away inside of Project Yourself. So when you purchase this, you'll actually get her bonus included inside of Project Yourself. So she's going to be on the call. She's going to be talking about some of the physiological implications of meditation, of chanting, of astrology, of all these practices that we're talking about. Really excited to have her on board. And so, again, we may sneak in a couple other people. There's going to be 2 or 3 other people that we're going to be talking with. But yeah, that live cast is going to be crucial. It's in 2 days, June 4th. It's going to start at 11 a.m. Pacific. It's going to go for 8 hours. Imagine both of us sitting here for 8 hours. It's going to be so awesome. Yeah. I'm so excited.
No, we're excited. We're really
She's excited as well.
You know, he's in front of the camera a lot. I don't do this that often. I do it because I really love this community, and I really just love what we're all doing together. So, thank you so much, so very much.
Yeah, and we have more questions here. So should we just keep going?
Could do a couple more. Yeah, a couple more questions.
I need a little sip of water break here.
Yeah. Ooh. I think I spilled my water here. There you go.
Here you go. We got water. Thank you. Okay.
Great.
Okay. Let's see. Is
we got the paint. Yeah. Then we answered that.
Okay. Reality is apparently poor. Okay. Original. This is not great. Okay. any questions from you guys?
Oh no, we got that one.
If you guys want to, someone, maybe Joseph or Brad or someone send me messages directly, then I can look at them and I can, I can help. Oh, here's some.
Deep fear is.
You want to read this one?
Yeah, my deep fear is my back. My deep fear is I can meditate but cannot do any yoga and have to be really careful exercising. I have many fears on a deep inner level by my health. But by my health is a big one. Even falling can be tragic. So for this guest, yeah, I mean, as a yoga instructor, I teach meditation and yoga, and I often will tell any of my students, your body is what tells you what you can do. So if you cannot do something, listen and don't do it. I mean, meditation is one of those things. Your body does not have to be involved. You do not have to be in a yoga pose to be meditating. So if you have anything like that, you can just, use your mind. So don't worry too much about the yoga, the asana, which is the
don't worry about the physical aspect of it. In fact, inside of Project Yourself, there isn't much physical stuff. It's a lot of just multi-sensory type of experiences and breathing exercises and
we use
guided meditation.
But that's it. And we will say
there's a link that people are asking for that plan. If we can create that for people and send it to them directly instead of in the chat, it'll help smooth things along.
So so just just you can stay focused just by being present with your breath, and that's all you really need, no physical. And the next question.
Here's another question.
My biggest block with meditation is trying to sit still and concentrate on the meditation for the duration of the meditation. I have problems sitting still, and my mind tends to wander a lot, and it's hard to get it focused. This is probably one of the number one things people say is why they don't meditate. They say they cannot get their mind still. And so, which is
it's the monkey mind, right? We call it the monkey mind. It's like your mind just wants to keep going. It wants to find answers. It wants to keep, you're basically the way that your brain was developed, right? If we go back a little bit into history, I always do this.
Yeah.
And I explain like the meaning behind all of these, like why do we do these things? So we have the reptilian brain, which is the center of our brain. It's like the core. It's like the smallest brain that we have. We humans have 3 brains. We don't really realize it, but we have 3 layers to our brain. And we have the reptilian brain, which is the first brain that was created hundreds of millions of years ago, probably. It's the reptilian brain. And all it really knew was fight or flight. That's all it really knew.
From your autonomic nervous
system. Fight or flight. Yeah. And it was just one or the other. And that's the response. That's our natural response towards everything is, what do we do to make it either feel better or to make it go away, right? What do we do? Do we fight or do we flight? It's either one or the other. And then what happened after that is over hundreds and thousands and millions of years, we developed the middle brain, which is the limbic brain. And that sits on top of the reptilian brain. And that gave us the ability to sense things around us. That gave us the ability to interpret things around us in different ways, to understand how things work.
Not only physical things too, but the limbic also helps with, it's not only like the fight or flight is like the physical, if something's coming to attack you, versus,
exactly. It's something else. It gives you options. It allows you to look at your surroundings and be like, I can use some of this to my advantage. And then we have the neocortex. Now the neocortex is what did it to us. It gave us that thought process. It gave us the worries. It gave us the anxiety. It gave us the emotions. It gave us the process it gave us that thinking ability, like, oh my God, like if I don't do this, this is what will happen. If I don't do that, this is what will happen. And it's constantly seeking that pain or that pleasure.
Or if I do this.
If I do this.
Way,
exactly. So that's how, getting that brain to chill out is hard. Yeah.
And part of it too is what I tell students is like, if you were to join Project Yourself, which you should, we're not telling you to just still your mind. We're not telling you sit still and don't do anything else. This is not a method of meditation that requires you to be a certain way. There is no wrong way to do this. It's about feeling what you're feeling when you're doing it. If you are feeling that there's a million thoughts going through your mind, feel that. It's okay. That is what this meditation is about. It's about making you break through that, get over that, and achieve that inner stillness without having to worry about the fact that you're not still. So it's a really simple concept, but complex and deep
at the same time
level. Yeah. So,
and that's really what a lot of this is taking that knowledge and then applying that and making it Hold on, I just want to see the screen here.
Yeah.
And applying it to your life in a simple way that's usable, and that's you can use it. Like, and why wouldn't you want to be able to use it in a simple way? So
Totally.
a lot of.
I hope that helps.
Yeah.
And let's see. There's another.
It says, "I love your program and know I will benefit from it. I was just praying for a mentor 2 days ago, and then I found you.
Oh, cool.
Our finances are strained due to health issues and 2 special needs, among special needs kids, among other things. I don't know if I could choose to spend this much money on something other than direct care for our family. I know it is worth it and exactly what I've been looking for." So, Monica, I always say, make a decision that's right for your family and what you feel first. I mean, I would never say spend the money on what we are doing and, think of us before from your family. I mean, that's a decision that has to come from you and from your heart. And if you really do believe that this is going to change, then, let us know. And, we can also work out something and we'll figure something out with you. We'd love to just help you get to this knowledge and access this knowledge. So please reach out to us at support@deeporigins.com. Okay.
Let's see what else.
Okay. Let's see. I missed the class. West is at 11 a.m. Would you have a replay? I believe we will have a replay for this. It should be up. I mean, right after this, it should go up immediately.
We're going to clean it up a little bit.
Okay.
Just apologize because there were some tech issues.
Okay.
Internet or something. So.
Okay. So there were some tech issues. So we're going to kind of edit it a little bit and then we'll put it back up. So within 24 hours. Yeah. Do you sell the Shriantra symbols, all 9 different levels in laminated versions? Yes, we do. Again, that's coming up in a couple of weeks. We're still working on, all this content that we're going to give you and, and joining the Project Yourself course, and we'll get to it, but it is in the plans to do that. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. We have another question here. What if you don't know what you want to create? How can this program help you? And that's so cool that you said that.
Awesome question.
We didn't put it in the slides, but what's really unique about Project Yourself is that you do it from forwards to backwards.
Yeah.
And the first step is connect, and the last step is create. And you start to connect because it shows you what you want to create. It actually takes you through the process of what you want to create.
So you may not know it when you're starting.
So you may not know it when you're starting. Yeah. But if you know what you want to create, then you can work backwards and you can actually go to connect so that what you want to create, you connect it, you make it actually happen.
Yeah.
So once you go through it forward, you can actually use it both ways.
And part of it is with the writing exercises too. We have in there with a bunch of the other exercises, it'll almost prompt your that subconscious level to tell you what you want to create. So it's, it's not only about, we do ask that question. So think of what you desire, think of what you want to create, but it may come to you slowly. So, yeah.
It will. So this program will help you tremendously for that.
Let's see. Hector.
Okay.
Okay.
Arlington, Virginia. Sometimes geometric patterns and shapes appear on my body when I'm in a meditative state. Just a few weeks ago, it was an upside down triangle on the back of my head. What does that mean? Hector, all those things that you're visualizing, the things that you're feeling, the things that you're seeing are all just kind of like your subconscious coming up. So think about what it means to you. What does it mean to you? And the answer is...
We can't tell you that.
Yeah, the answer is most likely you already know what the answer is. What is it that you're feeling when you're seeing that happen? And pay attention to what you're feeling. Pay attention to what you're thinking of. And that is actually showing you.
And pay attention to what comes up in your life. I mean, it may be different people, different things, and it all really does connect. So you'll see that happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. If there's any more questions, please do ask them. I'm just scrolling through here and I don't see any more. Okay. And I know it's been quite some time. It's been
kind of went over here.
2 hours. 3 hours and 15 minutes. And
we just can't get enough of you guys.
Most of these sessions do end up going long. The live cast, I hope it's not longer than 8 hours. No, I'm just joking. If we need to, we will. But we're going to keep that to 8 hours because it's a very like timed out, scheduled process with everyone. Here's another one. No,
Is it
no. Where do you get Shriantras? We're going to be announcing that in the upcoming weeks here,
Yeah.
where you can get your own Shriantra. You can get a paper version that's laminated. We also have ones that are actually coming from India, from a sustainable community, and they're energized. So they're we talk about collective intent. So there's collective intent put into these Shriantras to help make them more beneficial. And so, we're gonna be sharing a lot of that knowledge as well.
Yeah.
And again, the bonuses, we're going to be having a ton of bonuses that are already included here. The bonuses are on projectyourselfnow.com. I've mentioned them before. There's the 2 months of conscious calendars. You get access to my documentary, 2 live coaching sessions for me and Pooja, and all the recorded sessions that we have from previous. So you get all 9 levels of content. There's guided meditations. There's PDF downloads. There's between 5 and 10 videos on every single level of information that you can educate on, that we educate on. There's a live, vibrant community of people, Facebook group, the support, more support than you can ever ask for, basically. We're all here for each other. So why are you playing with your noise and making a noise with ring and making a noise? I'm not making a noise with it. I am playing with my ring because I always just play with that. It's a natural habit I have. What noise, though?
Or it might be the echo.
I don't know. There's no noise. I'm not making any noise with it. But I do. It's a habit. I always play with my ring, and I'm always taking it out and off.
You'll get to know a lot of our, habits
our little
like that
things
through all these videos.
And it's just something I do. Normally, actually, I don't wear a ring because when I'm working and I'm typing and stuff, sometimes it's hard for me to have that ring.
That's true.
Okay. Yeah, I think projectyourselfnow.com. Please check it out. I really, really want to see you guys on the inside. I would love to help transform your life, and I would love to help transform other people's lives, make this world a better place. I know Pooja and I are in the same boat.
Yeah.
We would love to help give back through our nonprofit organization and really be a part of your lives, be a part of your family's lives, be a part of everyone else's lives that this touches, and really just bring this out to more people and allow us the ability to bring this to more people.
Yeah, we hope you join today, and we hope to see you. We will see you all on Thursday as well. It'll be amazing, and we're just really grateful. So thank you so very much. And the link again is projectyourselfnow.com.
Project Yourself Now. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. We still have. Let me just, before I get off, 700 something people watching. I don't even know. This is amazing. So thank you so much, and we'll chat soon. See you guys. See you on Thursday.